when he rubs his sore eyes, sitting up in a daze while a dry cough scrapes his throat. The room around him is just a tiny thatched hut, only a few square meters wide, like a cramped toilet stall, with a slowly burning bonfire smack in the middle of the floor. Outside, the wind howls furiously, and the darkness is so absolute he cannot even see his hand in front of his face. He really should be back in his school dorm, fast asleep, and yet here he is, a prank, a kidnapping, or maybe something far worse. Every wild possibility surfaces at once, but before he can chase down any answers, a voice cuts straight into his mind. It addresses him as survivor, welcoming him to this terrifying dark world. To survive, the voice warns, he must remember several crucial precautions. Unknown dangers lurk in the night, and keeping his bonfire lit greatly reduces his chances of being attacked. Fortunately, the overall danger level drops significantly during daytime, so he must cherish those brief hours to explore and gather vital resources. The shelter itself is the absolute foundation for anyone trying to live in this shadowy world, and he absolutely has to upgrade his home as soon as possible. The survival manual holds many functions, meaning he must read it carefully and protect it well. Random natural disaster will also strike every month, so he needs to stay alert. And finally, good luck only favors those who strive to survive. Then, the voice cuts off, just as abruptly as it began, but he knows this is completely real, not some illusion. Cold wind seeps through the gaps of his fragile hut, making him shiver as he inhales the freezing air. He quickly tightens his jacket, drawing much closer to the bonfire to squat down and rub his hands together. That warmth slowly dispels the biting chill, allowing his frozen mind to start working again. The indoor temperature right now in mid-July is freezing cold like winter. Back home in China, this would only happen in the northernmost regions. To be teleported here instantly with a voice speaking directly inside his head is far beyond what any human technology can do. It is clear that he has been caught up in some mysterious event. Still, since he is here, he might as well survive. And honestly, as a modern college kid raised on online web novels, he accepts this crazy transmigration way faster than most people would. He takes a deep, smoky breath, stands up, and carefully searches his tiny hut for the crucial survival manual that voice spoke of. This tiny space cannot hide much, and in the corner he finds a notebook-sized black handbook alongside a heavily chipped, worn stone axe. The cover reads Survival Manual in plain printed characters, and the moment his eyes touch it, information rises directly in his mind. This unique book integrates all the core functions of this dark world, meaning if it gets damaged, his shelter suffers equivalent damage. So, this book is literally the core of his survival, since the voice already told him the shelter is his foundation. If it falls, the brutal freezing cold will kill him before any night monster can. His expression darkens as he carefully flips the manual open. The textured pages feel exactly like animal hide. The flyleaf lists those 6 precautions word for word. The very first page logs weather details like heavy fog, fierce wind, overcast skies, a freezing outdoor temperature of -7.1 degrees, with only 2 hours, 32 minutes and 35 seconds left of night. The leather pages update in real time. Digital screen. It is unsettling, but since transmigration is real, he can accept anything now. The second page contains a chat channel, neatly divided into world, regional, and friend lists. The world chat shows over 8 billion active people and the counter drops by hundreds of thousands every second as he watches. The region channel is locked at exactly 10,000. Over 8 billion makes up the entire population of Blue Star, meaning everyone has transmigrated. How the elderly, sick, and disabled will survive in a place like this is something he does not want to picture. He lived alone after his grandfather passed, so he has no relatives to worry about. Out there, he opens the world channel and instantly drowns in scrolling messages flashing by too quickly to read. He switches to the regional channel instead. Help. Someone writes they think they are kidnapped. A cop replies that he wants to call the police too. Then another asks what kind of black technology is this manual that projects thoughts directly into their heads. Did they transmigrate, or are they test subjects in a secret experiment? Have they seen the world counter hitting 8 billion? Did everyone on Blue Star transmigrate? Parents are called out, asking if they are there. Stop shouting, someone replies. 8 billion split into 10,000 person regions. Do they really think they would land next to someone they know? Anyone there, since they are in the same region, they cannot be far apart. Let us move in together, someone suggests. Move in? No way. In this dangerous place, only a fool leaves shelter. Someone begs for clothes, saying they sleep naked and will freeze to death. Others scoff in this cold. Who has spare clothes? You are on your own. Then a panic-stricken message cuts in mid-sentence, saying they hear wolves and asking if everyone's bonfires are still burning. He says he just opened the door to look outside, and the wind blew his flame out. Suddenly he is screaming, begging something not to come closer. Then total silence. Someone tries to call him back, asking if he is okay and telling him not to scare people. Then the counter clicks down from 10,000 to 9,999. And just like that, the brutal reality of their new home hits everyone. The chat falls completely silent for more than 10 long seconds before someone writes, "A warning, keep the fire lit, no matter what. Once it is light, they must collect firewood first." Now, everyone has a brutal sense of how dangerous this dark world really is. He looks at his own crackling bonfire with a pounding heart, watching the flames in silence before flipping to the third page, the trade channel, which is completely empty because no one has listed anything yet. The fourth page is upgrade, showing a level 1 thatched hut shelter requiring 100 wood and 20 stone, with a small note that this drafty hut is the absolute lowest tier. Upgrading will unlock new functions. After that, total blankness. The manual currently only shows environment, chat, trade, and upgrade, but more are coming. These empty pages certainly are not a diary. He shuts the book, flipping it over to reread the 6 precautions one more time. The danger level drops during the day, and there are less than 2 hours of darkness left. He has to rest fast and adjust his condition, because every single rule could mean survival. He sits cross-legged right by the warm fire and forces himself into a light, fitful doze, never trusting the shadows enough to fall deep asleep. With about 20 minutes of night left, he jolts awake, slaps himself, and starts running through the latest National Middle School broadcast gymnastics routine. His body is not remarkably strong, but he knows warming up before intense physical activity prevents injuries. Doing this inside the shelter wastes absolutely none of his precious daylight. By the final jumping exercises, a quick warm-up, the cold stiffness vanishes as a steady warmth flows through him. Only 10 minutes of night remain. He picks up his worn stone axe, weighing it. The manual lists the unranked quartzite tool as a basic axe meant for chopping firewood, though usable for self-defense. According to the system handbook, item rarity starts at black iron. Rank bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, legendary, and mythical. 8 ranks in total, and his tool does not even hit black iron. Speechless, he wonders how many grueling swings this tree will take. Suddenly, the night finally runs out. Daylight descends, his system panel updates. The weather is sunny, outdoor 5.5, indoor 11.3, 8 hours remaining. That temperature jump from freezing outdoor negatives to single digits is welcome, and the bonfire makes a massive difference. Still, 8 hours is not enough daylight to gather resources, explore, and safely return before dark. Cherish the day, the warning said, and now he completely understands why. Across this dark world, survivors are frantically bursting out of their shelters. 8 hours is incredibly brief, and nobody knows if daytime will shrink even further. Rather than rushing out blindly, he checks the regional chat for vital information. He wants to see if anyone stepped into immediate danger. One guy is bragging about surviving the night in an outhouse, hyping everyone up to go. Another claims he plays survival games, calling this environment his absolute home turf. Some even admire the lush jungle, calling the fresh air a paradise. Nobody reports any threats yet. Gripping his stone axe, he pushes open the shelter curtain and steps outside. Morning dew clings to the grass, sparkling under the dim light. Insects and birds chirp softly through a wall of strange, towering trees. This peaceful scenery only makes him grip his worn axe even tighter. Whatever entity dragged humanity here from Blue Star did not do it out of kindness. No one abducts an entire world just for a nice vacation. The handbook warns that daytime means reduced danger, not absolute safety. Overnight, the regional counter fell from 10,000 to 9,982, 18 dead in one night. Talk about terrifying. He cautiously leaves his shelter and steps outside. Other survivors are already working, and right after the first swing, chat explodes. The survival game expert instantly drops his smug attitude after one attempt, complaining that a tiny 10-centimeter sapling is tougher than solid rock. He wonders how anyone can gather 100 units of wood for upgrades. A blue-collar worker laughs, saying even with daily hard labor experience, he only fells one tree every 5 minutes for a single unit, since everyone needs rest. The day is bound to be brutal. A beggar asking for half a unit is instantly shut down and told to go chop his own. The dead did not get handouts. Another person tries trading private photos for food and wood, getting mocked. Relentlessly before moving to direct messages. Chop wood, the chat warns. Work because no fire means death. He closes the screen, 30 meters from his shelter. He spots a small birch forest, targets a thin sapling and swings. The sharp recoil vibrating up the handle and a tiny scratch on the bark tell him everything. He adjusts his posture, aims at the same mark and chops hard. 8 minutes. Later, the sapling finally falls, yielding 1 unit of wood. He doesn't rush to gather it yet. He rubs his arm, takes a break, and runs the numbers. A strong adult collecting 1 unit every 5 minutes only manages 96 in 8 straight hours, even before food and rest breaks. Cut that down, 60 units, highly unlikely, plus that nightly bonfire. Burns through resources, so gathering 100 units easily takes 2 whole days. His part-time gigs kept him fit, fitter than your average soft college kid, but he is no heavy laborer without better tools. He is looking at 30 to 40 units, no more than that. He does not rush to join the tree-chopping army. Gamers know that exploration and quests beat mindless grinding on a fresh map, and although this is real life, mapping the area and clearing out nearby threats makes future logging runs much safer. Holding his worn axe, he heads east toward the rising sun, pushing through thick bushes while watching for trouble. All of this hiking drains his stamina, fast, way faster than flat ground. 15 minutes later, and 300 meters from the shelter, a pitch-black zone looms directly ahead. Eerie howls echo from the darkness, making the hairs on his neck stand up. Border is barely a few meters wide, but feels like a completely different world. Totally unnatural. Looking at it, he stops. The clear, relatively safe zone still has plenty of resources, so there is no point in risking his life. Checking the sides, the boundary curves right around his camp in a massive dark circle. For now, his safe zone has a 300-meter radius. He wonders if upgrading his shelter will expand it. Thirsty and starving, after a long, sleepless night, he turns around to search for wild fruit. Just then, sunlight glints off some metal deep in the weeds. Pushing the overgrowth aside, he finds a hidden wooden treasure chest with a shiny metal clasp. That caught the light. His system handbook identifies it as a black iron chest. With 60% unranked loot, 30% black iron, and 10% bronze, the manual never mentioned chests. This is completely new. The drop rates are honestly pretty stingy, and his luck has always been terrible. He knows he is usually cursed, but who could resist a mysterious chest like this? He drags it out and pops it open immediately. 3 items appear. Materialize: a can of fermented herring, no rank. For some creatures, fresh spring water, unranked, just ordinary bottled water. From a local farm that will easily quench his thirst, a bucket blueprint. Black iron tier, which teaches him the exact crafting method for a small water bucket using 3 pieces of wood to hold 10 liters of water. Capacity: massive win. He recalls internet streamers throwing up from that canned fish, making it perfect trade bait instead of actual food. He would just throw it up anyway. The fresh water is what he desperately needs, so he quickly cracks it open and takes a sip, even though the description said it is totally plain. His parched throat finds it sweeter than any premium beverage he has ever tasted. Refreshing. But that crafting blueprint is the real jackpot. Because in this dark world, manual building is painfully slow and unreliable. A water bucket is a universal need for 8 billion survivors. Creating an absolutely massive market, this is a golden goose. Worth way more than some random bronze item. He will never sell this. He learns it instantly, and the system confirms he has mastered the craft. Bucket manufacturing is key. If a black iron chest yields this much, what does a bronze, silver, or gold one hold? He pulls himself back. The territory is 300 meters. Round, but actually 280,000 square meters, and a basketball-sized chest in that environment is a needle in a haystack. Finding even one is already pure luck. Still, he sweeps the entire area for an hour and finds only an open-air stone quarry to the west. No other chests, no fruit, just barrenness. The upside of this barrenness is having no beasts around. With chests off the table, he follows the original plan, sweating through the birch grove to gather 3 units of wood before coming back. To attempt making a bucket, 10 minutes each, he had assumed crafting would be instant, but doing the math, chopping 1 unit takes 10 minutes including rest, and a bucket costs 3 units of wood plus 10 minutes of crafting. If these buckets sell for 4 units of wood, anything above that is pure profit, given this severe crafting. Bottleneck supply will lag behind demand, meaning they won't be cheap. He plans to list them at night when everyone is back inside. For the next several hours, he gathers wood, crafts buckets, and saves some wood for the night's bonfire. The work is grueling. 6 hours later, the sky has completely darkened. With less than half an hour until night, he has stockpiled 7 buckets and 12 loose units of wood. His movements have gone stiff and slow. He's about to walk back when another tree catches his eye, and there in the open is a chest emitting a dark green metallic luster. Another chest, pure luck. He rubs his eyes, half believing his extreme exhaustion is causing hallucinations, but the chest is still there, wiping all his fatigue away. He sprints over. The handbook tags it as a treasure chest, bronze grade, with 20% unranked, 40% black iron, 30% bronze, and 10% silver. A branch fragment still wedged in its side tells him it fell from the birch tree he just chopped down, wedged perfectly into the leaves. The dark green completely matched them. Without the sun shining straight on it, he would never have found it, even if he had searched the territory 10 times. From now on, he tells himself to not just stare at the ground, look up too. He opens it and 4 items appear, one more than what the black iron held. It seems a bronze chest also drops more items. The first item is long, thick, black, and hard. It is a baguette. Unranked, incredibly hard bread, to be consumed with extreme caution if you have bad teeth. It even doubles as a weapon. He has not eaten in an entire day, and tears prick at the sight of food. He usually prefers rice and noodles, but he is definitely not picky now. The second item. Disposable lighter with no rank, a plastic case with 2/3 fuel left, and the gilded characters heaven and earth on the casing. It is a lighter of unusual origin. Useless once empty, he holds on to it, reluctant to put it down, even on Earth. In ordinary wilderness, a fire source is absolutely critical, let alone here. He cannot rub sticks together for fire, and the bonfire died at dawn. Without a flame at night, the dark could easily finish him. The lighter is unranked in name only. To him, it is far more precious than an ordinary black iron item. The first 2 are useful, but he is still conflicted. This is a bronze chest, and he expected a bronze item. The third item answers it, a bronze axe, bronze grade, made of bronze, sturdier and sharper than stone, with a description teasing him about whether he dropped this bronze axe, a silver axe or a golden axe. He swings it twice in the air. Whistles. His chopping speed should more than double, as expected of a bronze axe. If he uses this to chop, he wants to charge into the trees and fell a 100, but the sun is setting, so he quickly shifts to the fourth item. What he sees makes his bronze axe slip from his grip, thumping to the floor. A palm-sized glass bottle with a slender neck, half filled with a pale purple liquid. It shimmers eerily in the fading sunset, a silver-rank fountain of mutation. It is a sustainable item. Once placed, it forms a fountainhead of alienation, producing 100 milliliters of mutated spring water every single day. Drinking it causes unknown mutations, depending heavily on the amount consumed. The system description even jokes about growing extra limbs to join evolution. The path of evolution, pulling silver from a bronze chest, has a 10% chance, and he pulled it off on his very first try. Talk about some crazy luck right there. But this silver item is on another level. Even better, it is sustainable, making it far more valuable than weapons. Still, the warning about mutations makes him promise he will never drink it himself. The terrifying thought of growing extra limbs after a single sip sends a shiver through him. It is great for trade, since someone else might be crazy enough to buy this evolution liquid. The note says, any living creature counts, including plants and animals, though the actual results are anyone's guess. A cold wind hits, making him tighten his coat as the panel reads 21 minutes of daylight left. He quickly hauls the chest, the buckets, and the wood. Racing against the darkness, he sparks his lighter to start the bonfire slowly. Throwing himself out, outside in absolute darkness swallows the world, and distant howls echo through the woods. The night is far too dangerous, and from now on, he must return early. Safe beside his bonfire, he finally exhales in relief. Meanwhile, the regional chat is blowing up. One person begs for fire, sending a selfie. Another user replies, asking why she needs fire when she is already so hot. Others are not buying the flirting. Someone screams that the temperature is dropping again. People ask what to do, and the only advice is to upgrade shelters and get gear. That is it, trying to rub sticks together for fire is useless fantasy. You are not Bear Grylls. Suddenly, a scalper posts flint for 10 units of wood each. Only 3 pairs are left, sold on a first-come basis. Angry players call him a profiteer, arguing that everyone should unite and share resources. The seller just laughs them off, telling them to buy it or let the dark swallow them whole. The pure desperation in the chat is completely overwhelming, and the regional player count is dropping hour by hour as the night drags on. He quietly congratulates himself on finding that lighter. Without it, he would be paying a fortune just to keep a fire burning tonight. Next, he picks up the mutation fountain. It produces water on the ground, but he is not leaving a silver rank source outside where some passing beast could drink it and destroy his shelter completely. Instead, he digs a 1 meter 30 centimeter deep hole in the floor. Using his trusty bronze axe, he uncorks the bottle and pours the glowing liquid. The purple fluid seeps into the soil, creating a small, shimmering well. The panel confirms the fountainhead has successfully formed, holding a mutated water reserve of exactly 100 milliliters. He is about to check bucket prices when a sudden system broadcast cuts in. The voice announces that the first day has ended, asking if they have truly striven to survive, to reward those who worked hard. All obtained resources will now be converted into special reward lottery wheels. Every survivor receives exactly 1 wheel. The points, they only dictate their ranking tier. First tier needs over 50 points. It hands over a black iron wheel. Second tier demands more than 100 points. That yields a bronze wheel. Third tier requires over 200 points for silver, but fourth tier requires even more than 500 for gold. Next up, his own personal point breakdown. 30 basic resource units brought 33 points. 4 normal items added 40. 1 black iron added 20, and a bronze added 50, total 293. That secured him a silver lottery wheel. Suddenly, a bright silver light flashes. A small, aged, silver-white compass slowly drops into his hand. He feels its rough texture against his palm. Shock instantly turns into pure joy. The final tip from the survival manual about luck favoring hard work was no empty promise. The system actually delivered a very solid reward on day 1. He runs the numbers. He cleared Tier 3 by 93 points, but Tier 4 requires 500, still far. With the conversion rate, even 3 silvers leave him 50 points short. He found a bronze chest and a black iron chest today, pulling a silver item inside. That is incredibly lucky. Most survivors probably did not even lay eyes on a black iron chest, yet he is still far. Will anyone hit it? He shakes the daydream off. He is already fortunate and not close enough to the next tier for the gap to hurt. The players just a point short are the ones who will lie awake tonight. The global chat absolutely confirms this. Why did nobody warn us about quests? I chopped trees and got 6 points. 0 rewards. I demand compensation. Another snaps back, you lazy dog, blaming your own failures. The weak die first. One cries out, 99 points. 1 point off. Tier 2, pure pain, brother. Someone replies, I have 51 exactly. 1 over. Want to borrow it? Stop rubbing salt in the wound, you jerk. Truly despicable. Good thing I got 53. How did you even reach 99? I axed until it smoked and got 60. Oh, I opened a black iron chest and the items added points. Wait, there are chests. I missed a fortune. I am the ultimate clown. From this chaotic chat, he pieces together valuable details. Basic resource conversion rate for reward points is not identical for everyone. Some physically strong males got 0 points for wood, while some weaker survivors got 2 points or more. This means anyone working hard to gather basic resources is guaranteed at least Tier 1. Tier 2, however, is exceptionally rare. Tier 3 is on another level. He hasn't seen anyone in chat admit to achieving it, let alone Tier 4. Still, some might be playing dumb to grow in secret. This daily tally reveals a major truth about this world. The system tracks daily progress and rewards sheer effort over raw results. So even the quietest grinders can survive, but here is the real catch. Skipping tiers requires special items which demand finite luck, and those unfortunate players who miss Tier 2 by a single point will definitely stay awake. He is not one of them. His silver rank lottery compass randomly draws a single silver item. Previously, it belonged to some third-rate geomancer who used it to find food before ending up with a broken bowl. Quite a tragedy. Basically, the poor guy became a beggar. A silver wheel directly hands him a silver item. That means a gold wheel would award something completely broken. It is tough. A bronze chest holds only 10% odds, requiring 10 chests for one good drop. Landing a silver grade from a single chest must have burned a whole year of his luck. Might as well use it now and enjoy the rewards. With no reason to wait, he triggers the spin. The pointer whirls across fan-shaped grids etched with strange, unreadable characters. It slows under his anxious gaze, finally stopping at 45 degrees. A silver light flashes. A beast-skin scroll bearing the symbol of a purple eye materializes. This is a silver rank eye of taming skill scroll, used to learn that exact technique. It boosts his spiritual power limit, granting the ability to tame strange creatures. He can dominate any creature with weaker spiritual energy than his own. The capacity scales with his energy, wrapped in a bizarre Chunabu-style description. It demands weak beasts submit or die. Even at 21, the Chuni cringe makes him blush. Still, he has built up a solid tolerance to these weird item descriptions by now. He recovers quickly. Beast taming is a classic class in almost any survival game. This dark world clearly harbors true supernatural items, not just high-tech bioengineering. While previous items could be explained by genetic science, a magical skill scroll cannot. Magic means the unknown, which always brings danger, triggering a sudden sense of urgency. He has a head start, so he must work harder. Absolute strength is his only defense. Only power can handle these threats. In a magical world, maybe there are resurrection powers. Grandpa, maybe he can still find a way. He grips the scroll tight and activates it. The parchment bursts into a quiet fire. A faint, nearly invisible purple light shoots straight into his left eye. Then, agony strikes. Of needles, and he drops to his knees screaming, ready to tear his eye out. 30 seconds later, the pain finally fades, confirming he has successfully learned. Silver rank Eye of Taming. Cold sweat drenches his body as his heart continues to hammer. His chest tightens in lingering fear. The scroll description never warned him of this excruciating pain. He vows to only use scrolls in absolute safety. Any wandering beast would have easily killed him. If caught mid-ritual, he would be dead. Thankfully, he stayed inside the secure shelter. His mind clears, and a strange new instinct takes root in his left eye. He feels as though he can command anything he sees. Unbeknownst to him, his pupil turns purple. It glows with an eerie, unnatural hue. However, the taming power has its strict limits. It only affects weaker minds, meaning failure could destroy his own brain. Any attempt must be carefully calculated, targeting only the weakest creatures around him. He cannot test it yet inside this empty shelter, and he refuses to step outside tonight. Wandering into the dark to find monsters is pure suicide. He decides to wait until dawn. He walks over to the storage chest where his precious baguette is kept, eager for dinner. When he opens the chest, his pupils contract, swarms of massive black ants, each soybean-sized with wide-open, scissor-like mandibles, are feasting on his bread, with endless reinforcements marching along pheromone trails. These dark world pests are unnatural, their jaws cut straight through rock. They shred the hard bread, and a tenth of the loaf is already gone. Thieves, he screams, telling them to get off his only source of food. He has not even had a single bite. Watching his dinner shrink makes him furious. But he cannot just punch them. Those razor-sharp mandibles act like literal scythes. His hand is far softer than the rock-hard bread, and one bite would shred his flesh. He desperately scrambles around for a weapon, but there is absolutely nothing in reach. Keeps disappearing, but the newly acquired skill suddenly clicks into his head. How could he forget any living creature, as long as it breathes his eye of taming can tame it? Maybe. Ants have tiny brains and weak spiritual power, and his own cannot possibly be lower than theirs, so they make the perfect test. Suddenly, those gross ants on his baguette start looking pretty adorable. There are dozens of them. He picks the happiest-looking one to trigger his Eye of Taming first. A faint, almost imperceptible purple light flickers in his left eye, and the ant freezes mid-bite. Connection clicks open between them. If he wants, he can sense its thoughts and command it. He tells it to perform a few small movements, and it obeys precisely. Controlling an unintelligent creature like this carries no burden, so he sweeps his gaze across the others one by one, and they freeze in place like a pause button was pressed. Dozens go down in a single string until no active ant remains in sight. Then he feels a subtle pressure in his brain. protective sealing on his control with no other adverse effect, even on creatures. As weak as ants, there is a control limit. The cap must scale with his. Spiritual power. To control more and stronger creatures, spiritual power must rise. He will need to look out for items boosting it on the trade channel. After a brief contemplation, he orders all the ants off the baguette and into a line on the floor, 63 of them. The handbook tags them as black scythe. Ants no rank, completely black, with mandibles shaped like scythes. Possessing extremely strong biting force, ability none, no rank no. Abilities too weak. The black scythe ant is strong among ants, but still an ant, and if they had not been on his food, he could have crushed most of them. By stepping, as he wonders how to deal with them, his gaze lands on the fountain of mutation in the center of the room, and an idea hits him. Mutated spring water. Mutates creatures unpredictably, beneficial or harmful, cheap. Disposable and plentiful. That describes black scythe ants exactly, with enough of them. Some lucky ones mutate beneficially, and the rest are no loss. The thought of strong individuals coming out of this, honestly, the anticipation is wild. Without further hesitation, he orders them all to drink a mouthful. They march down the wall he dug like a disciplined army, approach the fountain, and drink without hesitation. Their bodies twist and deform, some swell like balloons and pop into mush. Half a minute later, only 41 remain alive, 21 died in the mutation, corpses strewn around the fountain. His stomach twists. At the sight, mutated spring water cannot be used casually. The death rate is too high, but his attention snaps to the survivors. Most are grotesquely deformed, extra legs, missing mandibles, bloated bellies several times normal that they cannot drag along, and the panel marks them harmful and useless. 8, however, stand out, thumb-sized, dozens of times larger than before. Darker and shinier with 10-centimeter scythe mandibles, black scythe hunting ant. Black iron rank, swift and possessing terrifying mandibles capable of immense destructive power, ability tenfold biting force. The 8 are the lucky beneficial mutations, and not only did they evolve, they jumped a rank. Ant biting force was already terrifying. These gnawed through hard bread before mutation, with a tenfold increase in biting force. He actually believes they could chew rocks. Getting caught in those jaws is a nightmare he refuses to picture. These hunting ants are lethal. At scale, they pose a massive threat. Even massive beasts would struggle against them, but with only 8, his legion must wait. Riley has no clue where these scythe ants originated. He needs to track down their nest and secure a queen. Only then does it become possible. The ants are ready to hunt now, but darkness has fallen. Tunneling around right now risks drawing monsters directly to him. Daytime only. Then the 8 hunting ants grow restless. He follows their tense gaze toward the corpses and mutated failures on the floor. They want to feed. He had been wondering how to clear the waste anyway, so he lets them. They swarm and devour everything, bloated until their bellies are completely round. As they feast, the mental pressure in his head eases. These hunting ants are no longer the same species as ordinary ones. That is why they devour their own living kin without a single second of hesitation. Now any failed mutations can simply be fed to them. Riley recovers a chunk of spiritual power and nods in satisfaction. He wonders if these hunting ants can mutate even further, since black iron is already this strong. Silver would be a massive leap. He stares at the group, and all 8 tremble and step away instinctively, even though they are powerless to resist his command. Riley wonders if they are seriously backing off. A seed of curiosity is firmly planted. He cannot stop now, but a global broadcast suddenly cuts in. A worldwide announcement plays, aiming to guide survivors in the right direction. A new temporary mission is officially issued. Upgrade your shelter. Please upgrade your shelter to level 2. Anyone ranking in the global top 10% for speed will receive a custom resource package, choosing between warmth, food, or tools. Meanwhile, survivors ranking in the regional top 100 receive a skill selection package with quality scaling by rank. Instantly, both channels go feral. Everyone wants every package, and those high skill ranks immediately. People are screaming for the free items. They want to know if they can claim all 3. It is absolute hilarious chaos. A skill package sounds unreal. The whole situation feels like a video game. If anyone can grab these rewards, their survival is basically guaranteed from here on. Desperate trades flood the chat. People are offering wooden spears for 15 wood or 5 stone each, marketing them as the ultimate defense against monsters. One streamer is even offering private virtual chats in exchange for wood and stone, promising to comfort lonely hearts. It is a total madhouse. Lenders offer 50 wood and 20 stone at 10%. Daily interest, it is a ruthless free-for-all, with everyone desperately trying to pull ahead to get that fast upgrade. Every dirty trick comes out. Riley realizes he cannot afford to study his ants right now. They can wait, but missing this temporary mission means losing these rewards forever. Even his massive stockpile cannot stop him from wanting more. He pulls out the manual and dives straight into the trade channel. Riley eyes that top 10%. Globally, he would have to be completely incompetent to miss this. He already has abundant resources and items. If he cannot make the top 10%, he might as well find a block of tofu to slam his head against. Top 100. Regionally means hitting the top 1% of 10,000. He is confident, but his goal goes way beyond just making the cut. A higher regional rank secures better skills, and he wants first place or at least top 3. He just hopes no absolute monsters live in his region. Opening the trade channel, he watches endless item listings scroll past, each tagged with the owner, exchange terms, and a comment board. A basic wool sweater, unranked, owned by Jang Depio, costs 50 wood or 10 stone. A buyer with only 15 wood begs for a discount only to get called poor. Another tells him to try bargaining elsewhere, but Jang Depio tells him to order it from the dark world and see if any courier actually delivers. A sharp machete at black iron rank costs 60 wood plus 5 stone. The listings are incredibly varied, but most are heavily price gouged on day one since resources are scarce. Sellers end up fighting. Can you blame them? Crafting these goods takes real labor, but at these ridiculous prices, nothing will sell. The market will self-correct soon enough anyway. The trade channel is far too chaotic and gives him a headache, but luckily a filter exists. He filters the listings for containers, and pages of them appear, sorted only by upload order with no option to sort by price. A simple unranked wooden bowl, 1 wood. A tiny unranked wooden wine glass, 1 wood. An empty mineral water bottle, unranked, costs 2 wood. A wooden bucket, unranked, with a 2-liter capacity, costs 5 wood or 1 stone. Proper containers are essential, since finding water means nothing without a vessel. The most critical factor is the overall capacity, and he analyzes the volume-to-cost ratio. After 5 pages, almost nothing holds over a liter, and even empty plastic bottles look spacious compared to other listings. With a quick calculation, he works out that his own buckets are worth around 15 wood by volume, but on day one, nobody can actually afford that. He wants quick sales for upgrade points, so he plans a massive discount. He prices them at 12 wood or 2 stone per bucket. Normally, stone mining tools are incredibly scarce, so stone is worth more. He structures his clever trade trap accordingly. He has 7 buckets and lists every single one. He can easily craft more anyway. He promotes them on the World Channel, 10-liter wooden buckets, listed for 12 wood on the market, limited stock, first come, first served. The community reactions are absolutely instant. One user complains about an 8-wood basin holding only 4 liters. Another decides to trade their stone since they cannot upgrade today anyway. It is a bargain. Users call Jang Hyan generous. Someone yells, "Do not fight me, I am buying them all to resell." Others call him a beast for scalping right after transmigrating. Everyone is rushing. They urge each other to buy directly. He is not surprised someone calls him out by name. The chat naturally displays everyone's real-life avatar and actual name. The World Channel only allows 3 daily messages, so he does not waste another. Within 10 seconds, all 7 buckets vanish and a massive flood of private orders pours in. Among them, a user named Seungha requests 5 buckets right after the temporary mission ends. He has no idea why she would need so many, but a paying customer is a customer, so he quickly agrees. Total tally: 7 buckets sold for 60 wood and 4 stone. Adding his 12 wood, he is now 28 wood and 16 stone short of the next upgrade. Wood is easy, but stone remains a huge issue. These buckets are incredibly profitable, turning 3 wood into 4 times. The value is crazy, but 10 minutes of crafting per unit means he cannot brute force his way through. Seeing this massive demand, he decides to mass produce. And he could craft 100 more right now, but every second counts in this regional race. And slow crafting won't win him first place. Sacrifices must be made, so he drops the idea and starts listing items. This canned herring, sell it, listed for 10 wood. It is a specialty food. Normal meals are common, but Oreo flavored Herring is rare and rich tastes are weird. The disposable lighter, keep it can't. Sell the half-eaten baguette, sell, listed at 3 wood, he can buy fresh bread later. Ron's axe, keep, to his absolute surprise, the canned herring and chewed baguette both. Sell in under a minute, even so he is still 15 wood and 16 stone short, sell. The hunting ants, black iron tier beasts should be worth plenty, but he only has 8, and there are still far too many questions to study. So unless absolutely necessary, no, wood he can find, but stone is impossible, writing. A bike to a bar, save where you can, spend where you must, he turns to the most valuable thing he owns, the mutated spring water, only 93.8 milliliters left. The ant trial used only 6.2 milliliters because ants drink almost nothing. He carves 12 grooved wooden cups to hold the liquid using his bronze axe, pouring 60 milliliters of spring water. He divides it into 12 small portions and lists them at 13 wood or 2 stone, then posts a second World Channel ad. Silver rank items, heavily discounted, come and grab them quickly. The chat explodes with pure disbelief that he has a silver rank item, lamenting the massive gap between players, but the sales fly because the water is highly niche, only specific needs match it. His clever trade trap nudges buyers toward stone, sale. Successful 2 stone, sale successful 2 stone, within 2 minutes 8 portions are gone for 16 stone, exactly enough for the shelter upgrade. The pace then slows down on the spring water as curious onlookers leave, and his world channel ad gets buried. He is only 15 wood away from upgrading and about to cap his trade limits when Xinghua messages him, asking to lower the price to 40 wood for the remaining 4 portions. The same rich woman who pre-ordered 5 buckets is now sweeping up 4 silver rank portions, which strongly suggests she has already upgraded and has wood to spare. They are in different regions, and her offer matches his mental floor. He does not haggle, he takes it. Sale successful. 40 wood. The moment the trade clears, he opens the manual and hits upgrade. Survivor. Detected meeting conditions, consuming 100 wood and 20 stone. Yes, shelter. Upgrading, please wait. Shelter successfully upgraded to level 2. Wooden house. Then the global broadcast fires top 10% globally for speed. A resource gift package. Choose between warmth, food, or tools. Then a second alert pops up much sharper. Congratulations, you are the first regional survivor to upgrade your shelter. Reward, a gold rank skill selection package. He does not relax until the broadcast confirms his first regional place. Cheap trade losses are fully earned back with interest, and this gold rank reward is unexpectedly generous. The world rank package can wait. He opens the skill selection card first, a palm-sized package. Inside is a card entirely golden with a question mark on its face. Gold rank skill selection card. Upon use, it randomly draws 3 gold rank skills, from which one can be chosen, so selection actually means a forced random 3, basically a scam, but he has nowhere to complain or protest. A gold pick out of 3 is still incredible, and he tells himself to stay calm and activates it. The card floats up, spinning for a few seconds before splitting into 3 golden cards, each marked with unique patterns. The system prompts him to choose. First up is Elemental Affinity, Water. Gold rank, boosting water element affinity by 100% and greatly upgrading all water skills. Next is Berserk, another gold rank skill that massively increases stats and speeds up recovery for 10 minutes, but triggers a weakened state after, reusable once recovered. Finally, Species. Contract, gold rank, lets him bind a species to boost his control. These are precious gold skills. He studies each option carefully. Water. Affinity is useless right now since he lacks any real matching. Magic, he only has basic farmer water, no telling when he would actually find compatible spells. He skips it. Berserk is a total lifesaver. That could save his skin in a pinch, but that weakened drawback is a massive mystery. Being helpless for days in this brutal place is basically suicide. That risk is just too high. Species contract sounds incredibly vague, but it lines up perfectly with his current setup. The drawback seems quite minimal, and using taming items makes the beast tamer path look smart. He also has a gut feeling. In this dark world, survival relies on finding random loot and skills, unlike the games he used to play. There are no fixed professions here. Everything they get is completely random. This is a wild, open world of endless possibilities, meaning everyone must plan growth carefully. With scarce resources, trying to do everything is a trap. These three choices clearly represent a mage, a warrior, and a tamer. His best assets already point straight toward the beast-tamer direction. His early lead comes down to pure luck, and competition is only light because everyone is currently starting from scratch. If he does not commit, he will lose his head start. He locks in species contract, choosing the beast-tamer path. The remaining cards vanish and the system prompts him to select a target. His only tamed beast is a black scythe. Hunting ants, so he names it. The contract is immediately established. His contract is now locked with the ant tribe permanently. It cannot be changed. Wait, permanent? That was never in the description. Is this a scam? His dream was to be a legendary dragon knight. Why does he get ants? He wants to cry. This feels like a disaster. He sighs in defeat. A few minutes later, he sighs and accepts reality. He only has ants anyway, and they are cheap to gather. Plus, they love mutated water. Maybe one day they will mutate into massive, terrifying, fire-breathing monsters. If he cannot ride an actual dragon, an ant knight will just have to do. He inspects the newly acquired gold tier skill, which boosts control over all ants. It is vague, but a gold skill should pack a punch. He scans one of his ants to check. Instantly, a massive stat block appears. Black Scythe Hunting Ant, Black Iron rank, fast with highly destructive jaws. It has silver potential, 10 times normal biting power, and currently holds an 11% chance to mutate. Feeding it monster meat increases the success rate, meaning this little beast is highly likely to evolve for combat. Types with a tiny chance of mutating into other variations. This skill is not raw combat but potential growth rates in the exact resources needed to boost them. Without this, breeding ants is total guesswork. With this, he breeds them precisely, worth the slot. He opens a resource gift package, weighing 3 choices against prices, then chooses warmth. The warnings mentioned a monthly natural disaster. Given the worsening chill, the first crisis is almost certainly a blizzard, meaning heating goods will skyrocket. Food and water can be bought from the trade channel later. Inside, he finds a cotton suit and quilt, far more than he expected. Slipping the suit on, his freezing hands and feet finally thaw much warmer. He checks his upgraded shelter. His level 2 house, reaching level 3, requires 500 wood, 100 stone, and all facilities built. The floor is 20 square meters, 4 times larger than his old hut, with sturdy walls that will not vanish in a strong wind, massively raising his security. New facilities unlocked. A storage cabinet for 30 wood to keep food fresh and slow down spoilage. A solid wooden bed and a dual-use stove. For 30 stone to banish the dark at night while serving as a cookfire. These are essential. Food is scarce. A cabinet slowing spoilage is huge. He barely slept on the cold ground last night. That bed changes everything. The stove banishes nighttime gloom and lets him cook hot meals in this freezing weather. Truly double enjoyment. These facilities are cheap, but the next shelter upgrade is brutal, requiring every facility first. Weaker survivors without chests might struggle for 10 or 15 days, and even for him, it is not easy. Fortunately, he has a crafting skill to rely on. He still has some wood left, so he keeps crafting buckets while checking the chat. Everyone is envying the regional 5th place winner who landed a silver skill. Salute to the big shot. He wants skills 2. Can he still reach the regional top 100? Well, hesitation breeds defeat. Time to just commit and get it over with. Honestly, the regional chat is absolute chaos, half adrenaline and half desperate bravado. As the temporary mission winds down, some are calculating if they can selling everything for materials. Others are trying to mass craft items, selling at thin margins just to scrape past the cutoff. A few are openly mocking the unqualified. It is classic bravado that masks pure panic. Those skill rewards are weighing heavily on their minds. 5th got silver. Top players must have scored gold, and the global prodigies probably got something even crazier than that. He buys some rye bread for 5 wood, chewing while he works. His hands keep crafting buckets while his mind plans the next move. First, secure food. His territory is barren, leaving him dependent on the trade channel, but the cold will drive prices up, strangling his supply line. That is deadly. A stable food source is mandatory. Next is growth. To scale up his ant control, he needs spiritual power items. Otherwise, even the ants cap out. Variety is key in that trial. Species will likely mutate along different paths, some for combat and others for construction. Some to transport others. Multiple species are required, but the ants near his shelter are scarce, so he sets a buy order on the trade channel. Plus, he is watching for spiritual power skills. An hour later, 6 more buckets sit beside him. As the temporary mission winds down, he scans the broader picture. Each region has 10,000 people. 8 billion total means over 800,000 regions. And the regional top 100 slots are filled, though the global top 10% still has a few open spots. Of those who have not upgraded, very few will today. Less than a tenth of the world's transmigrants managed that level 2 upgrade. On day 1, feeling the grim reality of this minority, his expression darkens. He keeps crafting, but the bleak image lingers. 8 billion souls dropped into 10,000 person cells with thatched walls and a fire left to survive. On the very first night, the death counter is already in the hundreds of thousands. He is sitting on 3 chests of luck nobody else got, but he cannot afford to coast on that. Buckets, food, spiritual power, variety, cold preparation, proper cultivation. Every task is real, and the night is too short to dress them all. His inbox blinks. Opening it, he finds Chungha again, asking if he has any buckets for trade now. Her steady buying finally pulls his attention. Her avatar shows a young woman with an oval face and a gentle smile. Dark world avatars cannot be photoshopped or beautified, meaning the face is real. Even he, who is usually face blind, must admit she is beautiful. Without any impure thoughts, he focuses entirely on her wallet and decides to mark up his prices. With that appearance, she has to be wealthy and high status, never short on cash. If she could read his mind right now, she would be left speechless. He confirms he has buckets and asks how many. 5, she says, before asking if he still has mutated spring water. He has 33.8 milliliters left from the original batch, and his spring produces another 100 milliliters daily that the ants barely touch. So yes, he tells her he can sell 20 milliliters now, but he demands better resources in exchange. She should have some. In a different corner of this dark world, a tree thick enough for 10 people to encircle carries a small wooden house on its massive main trunk. Other survivors would gawk at the engineering. Chungha is the owner, and she frowns at his message. How did he know? Well, she did buy too many tools from him at the start of the temporary mission. At that point, only those with no hope of finishing or with overflowing resources could afford to spend wood on tools, and she belongs to that second category. She is not against his pitch. With temporary missions ended, rare items return to their inherent value. She replies no problem. Take a look at these. Multi-year winter wheat seeds, black iron rank, a mutated variant with 100 times the yield of regular winter wheat, and stronger cold resistance. A bronze-grade ripening potion, which, when applied to plants, accelerates growth, especially lower quality ones, and a 2-color goji berry of silver rank, which slightly enhances physique and increases resistance. His eyes light up. These seeds plus the potion solve his food problem outright. A plot of multi-year winter wheat means he never loses to food shortages. The goji berry is even better since there are no hospitals here. Even a mild cold can be fatal. A permanent physique and resistance bump is absolutely invaluable. He keeps his. He replies flatly, asking how she wants to trade. Seongha knows exactly how heavy those items are at this stage and smiles at his poker face. She offers 100 multi-year winter wheat seeds, 3 ripening potions, and a 2-color goji berry for 20 milliliters of mutated spring water and 5 buckets. His reaction, pure shock, not because the price is too low, but because it is way above expectations. By his own reckoning, 30 seeds, a single potion, and the goji berry would already be a massive win. Her generosity is downright bizarre. He had intended to fleece her, and now he is almost embarrassed. Talk about a power move. He almost loses his motivation to grind, but willpower wins. He pushes back, saying it is too much, his goods are not worth that. She replies quietly that while the item math is uneven, she values his development potential. She wants long-term cooperation. Since they are far apart, she cannot stop him. If he takes the trade and ghosts her, this is a pure trust move. Sensing his hesitation, she adds that his regional rank in this temporary mission must be incredibly high. His mutated spring water, a silver rank sustainable resource, is highly valuable. She is willing to take the risk. Cooperation is mutual, and they both have what the other needs. This dark world is far more dangerous than they realize. Partners simply survive better. Long-term is the Goal, she is right. The spring water is the real prize here, and the cooperation logic holds. His own preference is always to specialize in one path and dump his resources right there. Think of game classes where different roles combine to easily outperform generalists. The real risk is that specializing leaves gaps, and trusting a stranger can easily get you killed. This is no game. He has only set his own career path. If her toolkit complements his, it works. He asks what other advantages she has, because once his food is self-sufficient, these items will drop in value. She is not annoyed at all and answers confidently. All her items, skills, and resources are plant-based, giving her a massive advantage in agriculture this multi-year winter. Wheat is her custom breed with crazy yields, as long as he trades her spring water. She will keep cultivating mutated plants and give him first dibs. Without her skill, he would just waste precious resources for terrible results. Having used the spring water himself, he knows exactly what she means. Harmful mutations usually ruin the crops. Cooperation is a complete win-win. She is another path-committed survivor, specializing in agriculture. Smart people are everywhere. He's not the only one planning ahead. With her breeding mutated crops for him, this partnership is highly lucrative. He drops his hesitation and agrees. Wishing each other luck, they complete the trade. Then he casually asks why she started buying from him at the start of the mission instead of selling for upgrade points. She replies that she had already upgraded her shelter to level 2 during the day. Thus her mission completed instantly. Upgraded during the day, he freezes in place in a distant corner of the dark world. Seongha chuckles softly, having anticipated this exact reaction, telling herself that showing a little strength always makes cooperation a lot easier. Left nearly broke after his trade, he keeps crafting and selling buckets straight through the long 16-hour night ahead. Sleeping through all of it feels wasteful, so he plans 7 hours of rest and the rest working. Her casual reveal really sticks under his skin. He knew some top players would upgrade fast, but a daytime upgrade is on another level entirely, completely beyond what his mind can reconstruct. He cannot fathom how, even for him, felling a tree takes 8 minutes. Could that delicate girl secretly be a muscle-bound axe wielder? Luckily, they are not in the same region. Otherwise, he would only be competing for second place. He sketches a muscular figure wielding 2 axes and tearing through trees only for the face to turn around and be Chinga. He shivers, snapping out of that terrifying nightmare. He checks the time. 8 hours of sleep have already passed. What was he thinking? Chinga has plant abilities, which perfectly explains her incredibly rapid upgrade speed. That muscle theory was just a hallucination because he has been crafting for way too long, pushing both his mental and physical strength to their absolute limits. He finishes up one last bucket, then stops to look at the massive pile. Those 8 hours were brutal, leaving his hands completely stiff from the repetitive work. A bucket that once took 10 minutes now takes 20, as his fatigue slows him down. Still, he finished 39, plus 1 extra, making exactly 40. Sells some, keeps 10. He trades the rest for 180 wood and 30 stone. Talk about a massive haul. Upgrading his shelter with a bed, cabinet, and stove costs 80 wood and 30 stone. Since these upgrades are absolutely necessary, he builds all 3 at once. He can place the facilities anywhere, so the dual-use stove goes right in the center, the wooden bed nearby, and the cabinet far away from the heat to prevent food spoilage. He throws his cotton quilt onto the bed. The stove radiates a deep warmth, matched by the cozy blanket and comfortable mattress. His eyes grow heavy, but he fights to open the trade menu again. Those seeds he got from Kshung How still need planting before he can finally rest. 10 minutes of browsing reveals exactly what he needs: a black iron rank 3-story nursery, 2 by 2 meters, which increases plant growth speed by 10%. The owner, Thompson, wants 60 wood. Speed-boosting nurseries are high value. The dangerous night is unpredictable, so planting food outside is out of the question. An indoor nursery is mandatory. 60 wood is expensive, but his crafting marathon means he can easily afford it. Still, he hates wasting resources, so he starts haggling the old-fashioned way. The seller's name looks foreign, which usually would have killed his chances, but the translation function saves him. He offers 55 wood. Thompson swears it is worth it, promising it can grow highly delicious vegetables. He points out that everyone just spent their wood on upgrades, leaving very few potential buyers. At 60, Thompson drops to 56, refusing to budge further, eager to Plant and sleep he accepts, placing the nursery right near the door for daytime sun. Sunlight will easily reach the soil through the open curtain. Each layer is 2 by 2 meters with a shallow tray and half a meter of headroom. It is small, but perfect for him. He sows the 100 winter wheat seeds evenly, then drips growth potion onto each seed, completely using up a single bottle of the liquid. He finishes up by watering them with 3 wood worth of river water. Suddenly, the seeds sprout right out of the dirt. This insane growth speed is almost terrifying. It makes no scientific sense. At this rate, the harvest is only days away. The system defies logic with its magical items. He orders his 8 hunting ants to loosen the nursery soil without hurting the seedlings, then throws firewood into the stove. He collapses onto his bed, wrapping his quilt tight, and goes fast asleep. A cold system voice wakes him with an announcement. Congratulations, survivors. You have successfully made it through another night. Natural disaster warning is now active. He rubs his eyes, groggily waking up. The panel shows 7 hours and 30 minutes of daytime left. He jolts. Did he oversleep and waste half an hour of daylight? He immediately checks the chat. He realizes he did not sleep in. Daytime was cut from 8 hours to 7.5. The light is shrinking. Before he can even process this, the voice speaks again. The upcoming disaster is a cold wave. In 7 days, extreme freezing temperatures will blanket the entire dark continent. Survivors must gather winter supplies immediately to endure the incoming calamity. At this, our guy is completely wide awake. A freeze is coming. The dropping temperatures had already hinted at a winter crisis. Everyone expected a cold front, but nobody saw this devastating countdown coming. 7 days, once the freeze hits and temperatures crash, leaving shelter will be suicide. This means he has exactly 1 week to hoard a full month of food. In firewood, he needs heavy insulation gear, and he needs it all stockpiled now. Even with his high-tier shelter, the pressure is intense and the panic is real. Just imagine trying to survive a blizzard in a basic level 1 grass hut. Most are dirt poor with crumbling thatched walls. He underestimated how brutal this world is. Clearly, he was dead wrong. He immediately opens up the regional chat channel. The active player count is 9,531. Thousands have already perished, and the chat is absolutely drowning in despair. One player cries that a month-long freeze is a death sentence. They are already starving. They cannot even find today's meal, let alone stockpile an entire month of food. Others hope the freeze comes in stages, so they can still scavenge early on. The hope is that temperatures will drop slowly instead of all at once. But realists argue they must upgrade their shelters to survive, or food won't matter. There is zero time to waste. Everyone is desperately logging. Someone claims they got a bronze axe to chop faster. The trade boards are flooded with high-priced deals. Players are selling river water for 3 wood per liter, desperately trying to hoard. Raw flint is 10 wood apiece. Prices are skyrocketing before the storm. Cotton scraps are being sold as insulation for 2 wood per bundle. He closes down the chat channel before the mass hysteria can affect his own focus. Instead, he lists 1 milliliter of mutated spring water for 10,000 wood. He has no intention of selling. It is a billboard to post a crucial offer. His listing is for large quantities of ants and must include a fertile queen ant. Without her, his ant farming project cannot scale up. He also direct messages Chuang, asking her to search for nearby colonies. Since she constantly works the soil as a plant specialist, she might find them. Preparing to head out, he checks on his nursery wheat crops. They are already heading. A few more hours and they are ripe. He was thinking too narrow. In this dark world, anything is possible. He grabs some hunting ants to head out. He steps outside. The morning is bright, only a couple of degrees colder than yesterday with no other obvious changes. He sets his hunting ants down, ordering them to find their queen and bring her back. These hunting ants evolved from black size ants, meaning they can track their pheromones and have a real chance of locating her. He decides to spend 30 minutes exploring. A chest would mean huge profit, but even a pure scouting run is valuable before he starts chopping trees. He heads east opposite yesterday's path. 10 minutes into his trek, he stops, frowning. He should have hit the dark boundary by now, but there is only bright forest ahead. He wonders if reaching level 2 expanded his territory, though the system channel says nothing. He messages Chamha, who agreed to help him find ants, and asks. She replies that after level 2, the territory expands from 300 meters to 500, and mutated beasts now appear nearby. These creatures are tough. She warns him not to explore without strong combat skills. He thanks her and looks out at the new territory. Chests are likely out there. But mutated beasts are very real, and even ordinary creatures would crush him now. Patience will pay off. He decides to focus on gathering wood today. Evolve some hunting ants to silver and then return. He retreats to the birch grove after yesterday's chopping. Most of the small saplings are gone, leaving thicker trees that require more effort but yield massive wood. With his bronze axe, it remains manageable. He swings. 2 hours later, a massive wood pile sits beside him. As he prepares to craft buckets, a contract signal pings. He freezes. He turns. The lead hunting ant carries a fat abdomen queen, and the other 7. Herd over 100 black scythe ants like guards escorting prisoners, all marching straight toward him. He beams with joy. The hunting ants cleared the nest. They brought the queen, solving his ant shortage entirely. He drops his axe and runs over. Without delay, a purple light flickers in his left eye. His taming skill hits the queen. She has no rank but potential silver rank, and a 48% mutation success rate, feeding her. Flesh-type materials will raise this rate, likely keeping her as a reproductive type, with a slight chance of other mutations the moment he tames her. The hundreds of black scythe ants behind her immediately stop their commotion and stand obediently in place. He realizes that controlling the queen means controlling the entire colony at once, which is a massive victory for his spiritual power. This dramatically reduces his burden. He cannot underestimate this, as individual ants take minimal power, but a massive army of mutated ants would drain him dry by controlling only the queen to run the entire colony. He can effortlessly manage millions of ants. The brilliant prospect lights him up, and his gaze on the queen grows intense. She is too critical to risk. And 48% is decent but far from completely safe, fortunately with species contract. He has a stable way to push the rate up. He dumps 41 units of wood from the morning chop to one side and decides to prioritize the queen's mutation rate because the sooner she mutates, the sooner she breeds hunting ants in his army is born. He opens the trade channel and filters for flesh because it is daytime. Few are hunting, leaving only a dozen pages. He skips unranked flesh entirely, focusing on black iron and above while excluding price. Excluding the gougers, only a few candidates remain, and one stands out: mutated rabbit meat. Black iron rank owned by Will Porter, 20 wood per gin, half a kilo. Mutated wild boar meat bronze grade, same owner, 40 wood per gin. The same person is selling both in bulk, which means he has serious combat power and negotiable prices. Talk about a jackpot. Counting the newly chopped 41 logs, he has 98 wood in total, more than enough. He sends a direct message to Will, offering to buy 1 gin of mutated rabbit meat and 1 gin of the mutated wild boar meat. He asks if the price can be lowered and waits 5 minutes for a reply. Will points out that anyone looking at the trade channel knows his prices are already incredibly favorable. Zheng Haiyan counters that almost nobody can afford meat right now, meaning the listing has been sitting there. He adds that he has a long-term demand for high-quality food, proposing they establish a regular partnership. Meanwhile, in a distant corner of this dark world, a nearly 2-meter-tall, shirtless white man rests his dripping, long-handled battle axe on the ground and frowns down at his manual. After thinking it over, the giant writes back, admitting he is actually pretty interested in a long-term partnership. Since Zhang Haiyan can afford this much meat, he must be a powerful survivor. Will cannot drop the price any lower, but he offers a little bonus. He shares the details for black iron rank, mutated rabbit blood, and mutated bronze grade wild boar blood. Apparently, beast blood can boost mutation success rates, making it a solid discount. Zhang Haiyan agrees to the deal, trading 60 wood for 1 gin of each type of meat along with the blood. After completing the trade, he asks another question. Since Will is clearly an expert hunter, he must know a lot about these beasts. Zhang Haiyan asks for some details, offering to pay for the information because monster intel is crucial. Fortunately, Will is a pretty generous guy and writes back almost immediately. No problem at all, as he had plenty of hunting experience back on Blue Star. But the mutated beasts here on the Dark Continent are a completely different breed. They are not just massive, but also way more violent and savage in nature, with bizarrely altered appearances. For instance, the mutated rabbit is 80 centimeters long and wields a pair of razor-sharp fangs. Instead of fleeing, the beast charged straight at him. With absolute rage in its bloodshot eyes, Will warns Jang Hyan to avoid them at all costs. If he lacks combat skills, these things are far beyond ordinary wild animals. Hearing this, his caution instantly doubles. He sends Will a quick thank. Since these monsters are highly territorial and rarely wander, he should be perfectly safe. As long as he stays away from unexplored ground, closing the trading manual he brings out the newly acquired mutated rabbit meat and the mutated wild boar meat. Both cuts are bright red, beautifully marbled, and smell strongly of fresh blood. 2 days here feel like an entire month without proper food, and his mouth waters at the thought of roasting them over the stove. However, he suppresses the hunger and orders the queen to eat the rabbit meat first. She crawls over, spreading her massive, scythe-like mandibles, and tears into it ravenously. Her progress rate ticks from 48 to 49 and keeps climbing. Black iron flesh is a serious upgrade for a basic queen, if black iron works this fast. What about bronze? Will it push her instantly to 100%? Eagerly, he switches her to the wild boar meat, and the mutation progress climbs even faster, hitting 65% before finally stalling out. For any ordinary ant, 65 would be amazing. But for a queen with no second chances, only 100 is truly safe. He looks down at her massive, swollen abdomen has expanded significantly, and she lies completely exhausted beside. The queen is stuffed with boar meat, unable to move. She just overate, giving him quite a scare. He laughs at his own panic, ordering her to digest her food and keep eating. Then he returns to chopping wood nearby, checking on her 30 minutes later. Her mutation rate stands at 100%, incredibly fast. He carries her to the mutated spring water and lets her drink. Her body is already several times larger than a normal black scythe ant, and a single gulp takes a full milliliter before she stops. Under his tense gaze, her massive frame expands rapidly and the mutation finishes, a black scythe hunter ant queen. Black iron rank, potential silver rank, type reproductive with the rapid reproduction. Her current mutation success rate is 11% with the same flesh-feeding scaling and outcomes as before. Her quality now jumps from no rank straight to black iron while unlocking rapid reproduction. More importantly, she now breeds black iron black scythe hunting ants directly, meaning he never needs to spend precious spring water on individual evolution as long as he keeps her fed, since these hunting ants already have combat power. Numbers are the only bottleneck, which is now solved. Once their numbers grow, hunting mutated beasts becomes possible. No joke, his dream of an ant army is actually becoming real. But the queen cannot do it alone. He gathers his 8 existing hunting ants, drops 2 pieces of mutated meat, letting them eat alongside the queen to raise their own mutation rates before pairing them up for breeding. Watching her bulging belly, he laughs, saying she has food, drink, and a harem, living more comfortably than he does, so she better breed him a strong army. He leaves them to it, grabs his bronze axe, and heads out. As soon as he reaches the birch grove, a message pops up. It is Chungha again, calling out to Jang Hyan. She found a type of ant, asking him to see if it is useful. Without waiting for his reply, Chungha sends over the ant's info, a century ant queen with no grade. She has 3 pairs of compound eyes, moves incredibly fast, and is skilled in reconnaissance. A scouting colony queen is exactly the missing link his plan needed. Meat-eating combatants under the black scythe hunter ant queen, combined with plant-eating scouts under a century ant queen, all sharing one ant nest. Once he finds a colony nucleus, he beams at the perfect setup. First the black scythe queen, now this. Talk about perfect timing, he tells her. It is incredibly useful, and asks what resources he can offer in exchange. She replies that she stumbled on the queen while loosening soil for her plants, costing no effort. It is free for him as allies, but he refuses to just accept it, even if it seems small to her. It is huge to him. Shiyama asks him to keep an eye out for plant seeds, saying she has to get back to work and will chat tonight. She trades over a wooden bottle containing the century ant queen and more than 20 century ants. They feature 3 pairs of compound eyes, long antennae, and dark green helmet-shaped heads, peeking around like tiny sentries on watch. This ally is incredibly reliable. He owes her a massive favor now. Seeds, he will look for them. Purple light flickers in his left eye, and the queen falls under his control without resistance. A century ant queen with no grade but bronze potential. Type reproductive. Her mutation rate is 67%, feeding plant-based materials increases it, likely resulting in another reproductive type with a small Chance otherwise, the species contract gives him stats Chungha cannot see, like her bronze. Her potential has a lower ceiling than the silver potential of the Black Scythe Queen. Mildly disappointing, but different species have different growth potentials. But since the century ant feeds on plants and is already at 67%, the food path is much cheaper compared to the meat-eating black scythe hunting ants. This is brutally cost-effective. These are scouts, which might actually be more useful to him than combat ants. The century ant queen has 4 eyes, long antennae and a round belly. She looks at him and he nods, satisfied. Plant matter from regular grass works, but the growth rate caps if it is ordinary. For that he needs a plant expert. He shamelessly messages Shanghe again, asking if she has high-quality plant materials that are plentiful and filling. She is busy but replies in 3 minutes, asking if he wants food or otherwise, any plant. He tells her wood or leaves, it does not have to be food. She says how about some bronze-grade sandalwood wudong wood. He knows he asked the right person. He tells her this is great and asks how she wants to trade, and please do not give it for free again, otherwise next time he will be too embarrassed to ask. She smiles to herself. Small things reveal character, and although he has what she needs, if he were too greedy, she would only offer limited cooperation. Only with acceptable character does she treat him as a long-term ally. She replies fairly, even though it is bronze grade, it still has limited uses, so 1 unit of sandalwood wudong for 5 units of regular wood. He takes it. Without haggling, he places the wood beside the new century ant queen and 10 of her century ants, and they start gnawing. The rate climbs fast, 5 minutes. Later, all 11 hit 100%, and he brings them to the spring water. The century ant queen mutates faster than the black scythe ant queen, 1 minute and she is done, and the 10 ordinary century ants finish even quicker. The century ant queen is black iron rank, bronze grade potential, reproductive type with rapid reproduction and a 10% evolution success rate that plant materials raise. Likely reproductive evolution. The century ants are black iron rank with bronze potential, reconnaissance type, and basic agility. Their current mutation success rate is 10%, plant materials raising it, likely reconnaissance evolution. Unlike the black scythe ants, who grew dozens of times in size, this queen only grew a few sizes bigger, and her workers are unchanged. She has rapid reproduction like the other queen, and the workers got basic agility, compared to tenfold bite force. Basic agility sounds boring until he lets one move. It crosses the shelter in seconds. Faster than he can walk. For that tiny body, the speed is incredible. If basic is this fast, what about intermediate or advanced? With this speed plus reconnaissance, his scouting efficiency will multiply several times once numbers grow, allowing him to stay home while ants scout the perimeter. He treats the sentry queen and her colony the way he did the hunting ants, dropping the sandalwood beside them. He lets them feed and breed simultaneously. After the sentry ants are settled, he decides to hunt for chests within 300 meters. The 300 to 500 ring stays off limits per Will and Shona's warnings. Half an hour later, he has nothing. Either he picked the area clean already, or luck is dry. Today, as he reaches the easternmost 300 mark and prepares to turn back, he freezes. A small tree under 2 meters tall stands ahead, laden with a dozen fist-sized red fruits. The fruits are lush and tempting. Right beneath them sits a wooden treasure chest. But there is a catch. The valuable loot sits roughly 360 meters from his shelter, deep inside beast territory. His mind locks into a tense struggle as cold wind hits. It is incredibly cold, but he has been working nonstop in a padded jacket without noticing the chill. But the moment he stops, the brutal chill lands hard. The system panel already reads below 0. Yesterday, it was a much warmer 5 degrees. With less than 7 days before the massive cold wave hits, his food and warm gear are nowhere near enough. Any hesitation now will destroy his hard-earned day 1 lead. He must act. 60 meters out and back, picking and grabbing the chest, takes 3 minutes total. He does not rush in. Instead, he climbs a tall tree with excellent visibility. From this high vantage point, he spends 10 minutes scanning the surrounding area for any danger. He spots nothing large. He climbs down with a sigh. Grabbing his bronze axe, he steps forward into the completely uncharted territory. The channel consensus is that resources within 300 meters are totally basic. But past that boundary, richer items like black iron and bronze can appear. Of course, the danger spikes too. It is his first excursion, making him nervous. Crossing those 60 meters takes nearly 2 tense minutes with absolutely no incidents. Reaching the small tree, he quickly stuffs 6 red fruits into his collar. His clothes bulge to capacity. He does not push, the tree is safe. Gripping the axe tightly in his right hand, he scoops up the chest. He turns to run. Nearing the 300-meter safety boundary, he begins to relax. Of course, nothing is ever that easy. Suddenly, a rustling sound echoes behind him. It sounds like a breeze on a perfectly still evening, yet he feels no wind. The chilling realization hits a second later, and his sharp survival reflexes kick in. He drops the chest instantly, swinging his axe up to block as he pivots. A dark shape suddenly leaps at him. He blocks on instinct with both hands. Heavy force surges up the handle, forcing him back 5 steps to steady. The attacker bounces back. It is a squirrel, standing 50 centimeters tall. It bears razor-sharp fangs and red eyes, looking completely wild and bloodthirsty. A black iron rank mutated squirrel, possessing the junior concealment skill. This ability drastically increases the success rate of hiding items and tracks. This is exactly the kind of terrifying mutated beast Will had warned about. Despite his careful scanning, this stealthy creature had easily slipped past him. He cannot outrun it on this rough terrain, and the safe zone is fake. Only a fool would rely on it. Fortunately, he has his trusty weapon. The mutated creature pounces again instantly, giving him 0 time to prepare. He counts down 3, 2, 1, carefully calculating its running speed and arc. Right at the peak of its jump, he brings his axe down with both hands. He drives the heavy blade down, aiming to smash it straight into the dirt. The beast cannot redirect midair and helplessly watches the sharp edge close in. With no escape, it lashes out with sharp claws, ripping 2 gashes across him. Shredding his thick cotton coat open, the heavy blade lands true. The squirrel crashes and rolls, wounded but not dead. He does not hesitate. He swings again, blood splatters, and the creature finally goes completely still. His heart is pounding, adrenaline masked it, but as the fight ends, a wave of fatigue hits his whole body, leaving him sore as if beaten in a brutal fight. This intense physical reaction makes sense, but he cannot stay. The smell of blood could attract more dangerous creatures. He lifts the squirrel onto the chest, tucking both under his arm, then stumbles back toward the shelter, only seeing those walls. As he finally exhale, the harvest tucked in his collar, bringing a smile to his face. He closes the door, sits on the floor, and begins sorting. It is a mutated squirrel. Ordinary ones weigh under a pound. This beast is at least 6 pounds, after basic processing, removing organs and bones. He gets 3 portions of gene meat, 1 squirrel hide, and 200 milliliters of blood. That is 80 units of wood in a few minutes of fighting. Hunting mutated beasts pays far better than chopping wood. But he quickly pushes that daydream aside. Let's face it, survival always comes first. A clean fight today guarantees nothing. Mutated creatures may carry deadly pathogens. A small wound to a vulnerable spot like his neck could kill him. The squirrel meat goes on the menu tonight. The blood goes to his hunting ants as a bonus. While the hide will become a scarf or gloves, then he opens the chest. Rye bread, a buckwheat pillow, and a third item, another manufacturing blueprint. He never expected a black iron chest to drop a blueprint on top of those other items that already made him happy. This third item is a familiar cowhide. Scroll and he recognizes it instantly, a pointed wooden fence of black iron rank. It might catch a careless climber by the crotch, but it also encloses a shelter to keep the dark world creatures far away from his home. The manufacturing cost is just 1 unit of wood and 3 minutes per piece. This is brilliant. Shelter safety is a rare commodity, and wood is the most abundant resource around. His buckets sell well now, but everyone will have them soon, crashing their market value within days. He cannot spare rare resources for trading. He was just wondering how to maintain his income when the system provided the answer. He learns the blueprint immediately, though he will hold off on crafting just yet. He lays out 6 red heart fruits of bronze grade. These can be used to increase overall physique and quickly heal muscle damage. A permanent physical boost with rapid muscle repair. These fruits are heart-shaped, hence their name. Right after a day of chopping and fighting for his life, his muscles are aching everywhere. The timing could not be better. He wipes one on his sleeve and takes a bite. The sweet, rich juice floods his mouth, his body devouring it before he can even savor it. Only 3 melon seeds remain. As expected of a bronze grade item, its incredible taste beats every fruit he has ever tasted. Soon, a warm current spreads through his body and the soreness fades. Within 10 minutes, he feels fully recovered, his muscle fibers stronger than before. He craves a second fruit immediately, but forces himself to stop. The fruit is best used after strenuous exertion when his muscles are torn. With only 6 left, eating them casually is wasteful. He wonders if Chungha can cultivate them in bulk, securing a limitless supply of these powerful physical boosters. After that miraculous fruit, he almost feels excited about this dark world. Dangerous, yes, but full of endless possibilities. He messages Chungha the fruit information and asks if she can cultivate it. She replies almost instantly, absolutely thrilled by its bronze. She has a fruit physique and fast recovery, but rarity lowers her success. She needs extra seeds, and ideally a branch from the main mother tree. She is a complete plant fanatic, so this survival path makes perfect sense. He tells her he found the rare item within the newly unlocked territory. There is one tree with over 10 fruits left, and he encountered a beast. Since he bled near the spot during the fight, he cannot return today. Alarmed, she asks if he was injured by the beast and urges immediate treatment. Fortunately, he has no injuries. She sighs in relief, remarking how harsh this world is. Since she lacks healing herbs, she warns him that squirrels hoard massive food stashes. He should scout the den when safe. In his rush, he completely forgot their habits. Without her quick warning, he definitely would have missed it. After thanking her, he asks her to attempt cultivation and trades 3 seeds over. He sends a whole heart fruit too, refusing any payment she tries to offer. Since she gave him century ants earlier, this trade balances their debt perfectly. On her side, Chungha stares at the heart-shaped fruit with a wry smile. She resolves to find ant-related items, so she stops racking up favors. She will ask Bikian next, since he likely possesses some solid information. With their chat finished, only 3.5 hours of light remain. Exploring is tempting, but that mutated squirrel serves as a harsh warning. Facing a mutated predator at his current strength means instant dinner. Instead, he focuses on defense, crafting a single fence to measure his perimeter. Fencing the whole area requires over 100 barriers and 5 crafting hours. He downscales to 30 or 40 pieces for a smaller, manageable evening project. Carrying 38 units of wood, he heads toward the pile near the birch grove. 2 hours of steady crafting fly by, boosted by the heart fruit's refreshing energy. Brimming with stamina, he crafts nonstop until a massive pile of fences builds. Pleased with his work, he hauls them to the shelter, grabbing his bronze axe. He swings the heavy tool to drive the wooden stakes deep into the frozen ground. The soil is rock hard, securing them takes physical effort. Once the fences are secured, complete darkness falls, leaving just 31 minutes left. Outside, the temperature hits -10, making his sweaty clothes feel freezing. Shivering, he retreats indoors as the cold night bears down on his exhausted body. The stove fire has died. When he reaches for firewood, he freezes. He used every single piece on those fences, but panic searching outside is too dangerous. He decomposes his old black iron chest to instantly harvest 5 wood units. He tosses a piece into the dark stove, sparks it, and gets back to work. He begins crafting more barriers, listing a single piece on the trade market. Pricing it at 5 wood units, he nets 4 profit in under 3 minutes. This is way better than crafting buckets, which only return 10 wood per 10 minutes. He crafts 2 more, but the listing sits. Perhaps the price is currently too high. Lowering the price to 4 wood units per piece causes it to sell instantly. Messages flood his screen with buyer demands, so he tells them all to wait. He keeps crafting, netting 3 wood per minute from this highly profitable business. Night falls heavily, bringing harsh, howling winds and heavy clouds. 16 hours of cold remain as temperatures drop to -14. 30 minutes pass, the freezing outdoor temperature drops several more degrees. Meanwhile, the indoor temperature, even with the upgraded stove, fails to cross 10 degrees. A few more days and indoors will slip below 0. The cold wave has not even started, yet the downward slope is already this steep. He has to reach level 3 urgently, or the freezing wave will end him. He originally planned to spend resources on combat, but priorities quickly flipped. As he prepares to keep crafting, he notices no world announcement. Today, that voice had been the daily rhythm marker ever since his arrival, and this silence on day 2 feels unsettling in its own right. Without daily settlements and any temporary missions, the system has shifted from carrot-driven rewards to pure survival pressure. Sure enough, the regional chat is already buzzing with anxiety. What is happening? They ask. Where is the settlement? They worked all day, so why no rewards? Perhaps the settlement and those temporary missions only happened on day one. Without those relying on chopping and digging alone, they will be doomed during the freeze. But not entirely. Others suggest hunting for chests, since finding a few ensures survival. But if finding chests was that easy, nobody would chop trees. Another suggests hunting mutated beasts, since meat brings great value, but nobody trusts that cunning old player's advice. If Jang Hun had not personally seen a mutated goat snap a massive tree, he might have believed it, so there is no settlement today. Even without it, those first-day rewards motivated everyone so deeply that most probably reached level 2 today. He quietly closes the channel and checks his queens. The Black Scythe Hunter Ant Queen is at 51%, while the Century Ant Queen is rocketing to 76%, both 8 bronze-grade food. So why this gap? Growth speed likely correlates inversely with their potential. Ceiling: the Century Ant possesses only bronze potential, meaning a lower ceiling, so she climbs, while the Black Scythe Hunter Ant Queen has silver potential and a higher ceiling, climbing slower. 16.5 hours of night ahead means both can finish tonight at this rate if fed enough. He has plenty of bronze grade boar meat and sandalwood wood, so he lets them eat and tells them to hurry. They eat faster than the nursery. The multi-year winter wheat grows so dense that the ears press against each other. What he planted with wide gaps has completely filled the trays. 10 kilograms looks plausible from 100 seeds, and harvest is hours away. The ripening agent is incredibly potent. Chung's plant work is truly something else. Food worries are dimming a little. Just as he plans to ask her for more seeds, she pings him first, asking if his ability is ant-related, and sends him an item link. He scans the details, his pupils dilating in shock at the ant nest nucleus. A bronze-grade item. Placed in the nest, it raises the queen's breeding speed by 20% while increasing food consumption by 30%. The ants gradually gain various attribute increases. Bronze in name, but a divine artifact in effect. The description hides its true upside. This is exactly the kind of niche item that becomes completely overpowered in the right hands, yet totally worthless to anyone else, which is why it ended up sitting at the bottom of someone's chest. 20%. Breeding speed increase is already impressive enough, hatching extra ants per night with no extra resource per ant, but stacked with rapid reproduction and his production expansion once the queens hit bronze makes the math compound. The 30% food consumption looked like a heavy tax at first, but their mutation success rate is fed by food consumption, so a 30% food increase becomes 30% mutation acceleration. Even a slow attribute buff is the kind that quietly builds up a colony over days. Half the items he rejected on the trade market had narrower descriptions than this and 10 times the price. That 20% breeding speed compounds heavily in his favor since ants rely on pure numbers. The 30% food consumption looks like a downside, but for him it is a huge upside. Eating drives the mutation rate. More food means faster mutations. That slow attribute buff is a bonus. He can barely keep a straight face as he tells Seongha this is incredibly useful, and offers to trade more spring water as compensation, since after one day he has another 100 milliliters accumulated and doesn't need it all. She replies that it is fine. She traded for it with an acquaintance who claimed ants were simply too weak. Nobody used them, so the item sat at the bottom of the pile and went cheap. She offers to introduce them if there is ever a chance. A bit erratic, but trustworthy. Hearing how ants are looked down upon, he doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. It makes sense. Even he, with all his relevant skills and items, hasn't produced anything visible from his ants yet, and their consumption has been incredibly heavy. People without those specific items and skills would be absolute madmen to invest in ants. Better that everyone underestimates them, making it cheaper to scoop up ant items at low cost. Sensing his silence, Seongha gently encourages him. This dark world holds infinite possibilities. Focus resources on a single path and persevere, no matter the path. It works. He tells her he is not giving up, feeling that a massive explosion of strength is near. He thanks her and starts the trade, offering 50 milliliters of mutated spring water for the ant nest nucleus, 100 multi-year winter wheat seeds, and 3 bottles of ripening agent. She protests that he is giving too much, but he insists. Tomorrow, during the day, he plans to check the squirrel den and the red heart fruit tree, promising to contact her after gathering plant seeds. Done. She says, and she will keep an eye out for ant items. The trade leaves both of them. Much better off, she secures a reliable spring water pipeline for her plants, while he gets a steady food and seed supply, plus a niche item scout. Their favors will balance out over time. Cooperation in this dark world is hard to start because no party can enforce a deal, and in this dark world, trust is a dangerous game. After 2 days of trading, his read on her is solid, her read on him, judging by her continued generosity, seems equally steady. He looks at the nucleus. Black peach pit-sized, rough, and irregular. The description says to place it in an ant nest, so the big question is where to build it. Underground is logical, but outside is monster territory. Inside the shelter, protected by fences, is safer. He picks a spot right near the spring water source, ordering his hunting ants and sentry ants to stop eating and dig. Sentry ants are for speed while hunting. Ants provide power. In under 10 minutes, a decent ant nest is dug. Better still, since both species are tamed by him, they share a single nest, which never happens. In nature, both groups benefit from the nucleus simultaneously. He drops the nucleus in and has everyone move inside. Eating speeds visibly increase, and so do mutation rates. The sentry ant queen, already at a high level, is nearly finished. In minutes, he holds off on letting the queens breed just yet, since babies inherit queen quality. If she breeds at the black iron rank, the new ants will be black iron, and upgrading them later costs heavy resources and precious spring water. He pushes the queen to bronze first. All her babies will follow. Once she hits bronze, she begins breeding at absolute full power. But that black scythe hunter queen is a completely different story. If things stall, an early breeding wave becomes his only choice. Sentries are just scouts. He needs real muscle after that squirrel fight. Suddenly, a signal pings through the contract. The sentry queen is finally ready. She and her 10 harem ants hit 100%. Time to drink. They drink the water. This bronze evolution is tougher than black iron. No deaths, thankfully. The sentry ant queen successfully reaches bronze grade. Her potential peaks here, requiring rare items to break the limit. She gains rapid reproduction. Sentry ants hit bronze grade now too. Their scouting potential has peaked, needing special breakthroughs to grow further. They unlock basic agility and beginner detection. The changes are obvious. The queen's abdomen has swelled. Her 3 pairs of compound eyes become 4. Her head armor is darker and shinier, her antennae longer. Workers are finger-sized. Neat little soldiers. Production expansion boosts her total breeding capacity. Stacking with rapid reproduction, his army is going to multiply incredibly fast. Since basic agility was strong, adding beginner detection to these workers is massive. Once these sentry ants multiply, they will find every single chest nearby. His entire territory will be swept clean. He orders them to start breeding. Just as they settle in, the black scythe hunting ant signal pings. Their queen is also ready for the change. Time to go check it out. The hunter queen and her 8 ants drink the water, repeating the process. But their evolution takes 10 full minutes because of their massive bodies. When they finally emerge at bronze, wait for this, he is completely stunned. They are 10 times larger now, fist-sized with jet black armor. Mandibles longer than their bodies, shaped like 2 deadly, massive scythes. One bite could easily snap a leg. He is glad they belong to him. The queen's body has ballooned, though her mandibles are smaller than the workers. She also picks up production expansion, ready to spawn a massive swarm. Workers gain junior fortification. He taps their outer shells, solid as metal. He steps on one lightly, no reaction. That defense is absolutely insane. Combined with those scythes, mutated beasts will stand absolutely 0 chance. Hungry for more, he feeds the queen boar meat to chase silver. 3 tails are gone in seconds, but progress only rises by 1%. This is ridiculous. Reaching 100% will cost an absolute fortune. It requires over 1,200 wood. The gap to silver is just brutal. A bitter smile. Fine, he will just have to take it slow. These bronze ants are enough. Time to build his first army. He sends her to breed, but first they must expand the nest. The original is too small. Now he has to manage logistics. Sentry ants eat wood, which matches his existing fuel pile perfectly. But hunting ants eat meat, and his current stockpile is running low. Meat is extremely expensive on the trading channel and hard to source. Most survivors cannot hunt mutated beasts, and sellers only offer tiny portions. He tosses the mutated squirrel meat he had saved for himself into the ant nest for The hunter queen, dinner tonight is just dry rye bread from his chest, choked down. With water, he just has to bear with it, once his massive hunting ant army exists at scale. Meat will cover every single meal. Peering through the nest entrance, he spots plump white eggs already. It instantly lifts his mood, but the food beside the queen is disappearing fast. No food means no more eggs. He pulls out wood and starts crafting fences. 7 hours later, he collapses spread eagle on his bed. His body hit its limits hours ago. A red heart fruit reset his sore muscles so he could keep working, but spiritual power has no quick fruit fix. That depletion hurts far worse than physical exhaustion, easily several times worse. He desperately needs items that restore spiritual power. In 7 hours he crafted 130 fences. That is just 10 short of his absolute limit. Fences are in high demand. They sell for 4 wood each, netting him 3 wood profit after the 1 wood cost. That is 390 units of wood total, but the nest's food is gone. He direct messages Will, asking if he still has meat. In a dark corner of this world, in a wooden cabin covered in animal hides, a burly 2-meter white man with long golden hair. Thick beard is tanning leather. He frowns at his manual. A notification buzzes, so he finishes his work, wipes his hands, and reads, "That buyer wants meat. Anyone who keeps buying meat at this stage must be strong. He likes strong people and good customers." Will answers, of course. How much? Jang Hyun thought he was asleep and was about to check elsewhere. 5 gin of bronze grade, please. Can you discount 5 gin at once? Most people only buy small portions. Smiling, Will offers 5 gin of bronze grade for 190 wood, throwing in 5 bottles of beast blood as a bonus. Deal done. After the transaction, Will pulls his manual back open to message someone else. Ryongu, he writes, "I just traded for another 190 wood. That should give you enough to upgrade to shelter level 3. Will has his own network, channeling resources to help an ally rush upgrade. Jang Hyun does not see this exchange. If he did, he would be completely shocked to find out that some are already preparing for level 3. Locked in a tight alliance, his mind is blank. He tosses the 5 gin into the nest, burns 2 sandalwood logs, and collapses. At some unknown hour, a sudden announcement blares across the dark world. Congratulations, survivors. You have managed to survive another freezing night. The deadly cold wave will arrive in 6 days. A critical temporary mission is now being issued. Another timed quest. Jang Hyun bolts upright in bed as the announcement continues. 3 temporary chests will randomly spawn inside the illuminated zones of every survivor's shelter. Opening them grants rare rewards. However, once 5,000 chests are claimed in a single region, the rest will vanish. The top 100 who clear them the fastest will receive a high-grade custom item of their choice. Jang Hyun crunches the numbers. With 10,000 players per region, 3 chests each means 30,000 total, capped at 5,000. On average, that is less than 1 chest is available per player. Crucially, the higher your shelter level, the larger your lit zone becomes, making these random chests much harder to find. Furthermore, level 2 shelters are plagued by aggressive mutated beasts, raising the risk and difficulty even higher. Survivors still on level 1 might actually have an edge. The global chat immediately goes wild. Some target the top 100, while others complain about upgrading their shelters just last night. They ask if the system is mocking them. By day 3, almost everyone has upgraded. If only they had not lacked resources, the top 100 would be theirs. These chests are tough to find, he has learned from experience. Mutated beasts are incredibly dangerous, and many will die on this mission. Some tell him to just chop trees and give them the rewards. Seriously shameless. Active survivors still crowd the channel, more than he expected, easily 1,000 or 800 per region. Talk about fierce competition, but he doesn't panic. He has specialists walking to the nest entrance. He looks down and sees nothing but darkness, no clear count. The hunting ants have dug deeper overnight, so he orders the queens to bring everyone up. Century ants stream out, about 150 by his rough count. The black-sided hunting ants follow, numbering only 23. Century ants are small and numerous, while hunting ants are large and few. It makes sense. The queens signal him through the species contract. More eggs and weaker juveniles are still inside the nest and need a few hours to mature. He leaves the queens to watch the nursery and heads out with all the workers. It is freezing outside. The moment he steps out the door, he shivers violently. He quickly tightens his coat, rubs his hands, and stomps his feet while checking the panel. Light snow, and it is a freezing -9.5. Indoors is 14.2, less than 7 hours of daylight remain. The shelter delay cost him 30 minutes, meaning he has exactly 7 hours left. Snowflakes. The size of 50-cent coins drift down. Soon, a thick layer will sit on everything, burying any hidden chests. Checking the chat, he sees snow is falling near other shelters too, keeping the playing field even. The sentry and hunting ants are completely unbothered by the cold. He splits the sentry ants into 8 squads of about 20 each, 1 per direction: east, south, west, north, northeast, southeast, northwest, and southwest. Their orders are to search for chests and report any mutated beasts. Finding chests is his primary task, while gathering intelligence on mutated beasts in his territory comes next, since their black iron evolution. They easily keep pace with his walk. Now at bronze level they match his run. The 8 squads scatter and vanish instantly. 23 bronze hunting ants wait at his feet, each fist-sized, looking quite intimidating, very comforting if he meets another mutated squirrel today. He won't have to lift a finger. Still, who knows how many beasts lurk around the shelter. He decides to wait for the sentries to report first. Before visiting the red heart fruit tree and the squirrel cache, he sends the hunting ants out as well, ordering them to follow the sentries and bring back any chests. As an afterthought, he keeps 2 hunting ants close by as bodyguards. After that mutated squirrel incident, he refuses to take a single step outside without backup. He heads back inside to harvest the wheat. The falling snow is thick enough to muffle his own footfalls, making the world feel incredibly small. His multi-year winter wheat is fully ripe overnight, shining golden across the trays. He tries using a bronze axe, but the cramped space and tough stalks defeat him. The heavy, blunt blade is useless for cutting. He wonders if he should buy shears or a sickle. Just then, a black hunting ant peeks from the nest, its mandibles shaped like curved scythes. How could he forget? He commands the queen, and 13 young hunting ants merge, climbing the trays to harvest the wheat like mini combine harvesters. In under 3 minutes, everything is cleared. He pulls out the 100 seeds Chunha sent, preparing to trade them when a sudden thud outside triggers an alert from his hunting ants. Chests. He rushes outside. Look at that, 2 chests are running across the snow, carried by hunting ants. In barely 10 minutes they found 2. The hardworking ants he drops the chests at his feet without ceremony, then turns to support the sentry ants. No rest is needed. A grateful thought passes, even if they cannot feel it. True gratitude does not register, but the contract senses something close to it. That is enough. Even with double the time, finding one alone would be hard. It is a massive struggle. Talk about real professionalism at work. The first is black iron, the second bronze. Both look pretty standard. They share the exact same drop tables as regular chests, and he opens both. Inside the black iron, he finds long cotton socks, water, and an iron pickaxe. The bronze one holds white bread, an iron machete, cold medicine, and a blueprint. Specifically, 666 cold granules and a bronze-grade blueprint, extremely useful. The socks protect from the cold, and the pickaxe lets him finally start mining. The white bread is a massive upgrade over that brick-hard rye he had before. Plus, the black iron machete is way sharper for cutting flesh than his old axe. Those 66 cold granules will save lives during the upcoming freeze. Back home, a cold is bad. Here, it is easily fatal without medicine. But the blueprint is the real shocker, a bronze-grade bandage. It stops bleeding instantly. Crafting requires plant fiber, adhesive, and coagulation serum. Even back on Earth, blood loss is a killer. Here, it is a death sentence. A craftable bandage is pure gold, but the materials are pretty uncertain. Plant fiber is easy enough, but adhesive and coagulation serum require some digging. He decides to ask Chun Han and will later, or just check the trading channel. Watch this. He immediately gets 10 of his hunting ants to start working. They loosen the soil, sow new seeds, and shell the harvested wheat tirelessly. They have 0 complex emotions and endless stamina, otherwise they would hate him. 10 adult and 13 young hunting ants complete the entire job in minutes. It is incredibly efficient. He ends up with about 10 kilograms of wheat. It matches his estimates perfectly. As he bags it, a brilliant idea strikes him. If he rents his ants to others, will they still obey his commands? Does the taming contract require him to be physically close to them? If not, he can run a literal ant labor dispatch service for farming. They could harvest crops or do scout work, making a massive profit. Best of all, there is 0 risk of competition in this market. Chianga would be a major customer since his winter seeds came from her. He has no idea how much she planted, but her fields are likely massive. Harvesting all of that by hand would take her days of hard labor. He needs to test the connection distance later, but the potential is huge. 10 kilos of wheat will easily feed him alone for over a month. But he is not alone. The entire ant colony needs to eat as well. With the cold wave looming, managing his food storage is absolutely critical. He must cap the meat-eating hunting ants at 50 for now and replace losses. The plant-eating century ants are smaller, so capping them at 1,000 works. Expanding his territory will naturally require much more scouting in the future. That cap will rise as his shelter levels up and unlocks more ground. But the hunting ants must stay limited until he secures a steady meat pipeline. Once his food supply stabilizes, his massive insect army can finally expand. Without strangling itself, the principle works the same for him, specialized do. Not bloat and never run a colony past what the food chain supports, another. Dozen minutes pass, the third chest still has not been found, though he had 2. In under 10, anxiety climbs. He keeps crafting fences while waiting, 20. Minutes later, the century ant signal pings and he jumps up, and immediately. The next signal hits and freezes his smile. Mutated beast spotted, last chest. Is nearby, he grabs the new black iron machete, takes 10 adult hunting ants, and runs southeast. After 5 fast minutes, he stops about 400 meters from the shelter, 40. Century ants are scattered close by. Without his ant sense, he would never spot them, and the 13 remaining hunting ants are also nearby, producing each hunting. Ant is expensive, so seeing 0 losses is a relief. 50 meters ahead is an earthen mound over 6 meters tall, a 2-meter cave entrance carved in the center, a massive mutated wild boar sleeps at the cave mouth. The last chest sits under its head as a pillow. Mutated wild boar, bronze grade. Abilities include charge, thick skin, and flesh. Even lying down, the boar is a meter tall. Standing, it is 1.5 meters and at least 300 kilos with 30-centimeter tusks. 2 abilities, both clearly. Hunting ants can take small mutated beasts, but a bronze boar with thick skin is rough, even. Winning would burn ants, but the boar is on the chest, and without it the mission slips. He messages will since he sells bronze boar meat and must have killed one. He does not. Reply probably also doing the mission. He has to think for himself, killing it is not the goal, the chest is. Lured away, hunting ants cause damage but are slow and big targets, bad lure. Sentry ants are fast and highly replaceable, good lure. The question is whether sentry ants can actually anger and lure a wild boar at all. Their stings may not break thick skin enough to register, and the boar may simply ignore them, but sentry ants can swarm into nostrils, ears, and eye corners where thick skin is irrelevant, and even a beast can be driven crazy by enough small bites in tender places. He has to try. He orders 40 sentry ants to harass the boar collectively and 10 hunting ants to hide in a tree nearby ready to act. When the boar leaves, they go in and grab the chest. He leaves the area fast. He is too large a target to stand here, and a charge from the boar would be the end. As he clears 100 meters, an angry roar erupts behind him, ground shaking. With thump, 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 plan succeeded. Half the win is just provoking it, the rest is luring it far enough for the hunting ants to steal. He jogs back to the shelter. Outside is so cold that standing still stiffens limbs in minutes, and only inside the shelter does he thaw. He keeps crafting fences to distract himself. 1, 2, 3, and the hunting ant signal pings. He rushes out. A hunting ant is trundling toward him carrying the chest across snow. He takes it. Black iron temporary chest, disappointing on rarity. But ranking is by count and speed, not rarity. He opens it. 3 items spill out before he can look. A familiar broadcast cuts in. Survivor, congratulations on finding 3 temporary chests deployed in your territory in 49 minutes, 53 seconds. Temporary mission, treasure chest scramble complete. Your count and speed rank first in the area. Reward, 1 self-selected gold rank item. Small golden box drops into his hand. He has only encountered a few silver rank items so far, each abnormally strong. Gold should be even more so, as he prepares. The broadcast suddenly fires up again. The total temporary chests collected in this area has reached 5,000. All remaining uncollected temporary chests have disappeared. Mission ended. He just opened his 3rd chest, and the event is already over. So in his entire region, no other survivor found 3. Are these chests really that hard? For level 2 and above survivors, larger territory plus Mutated beasts make sense, but level 1 survivors with 300-meter ranges and no. Mutated beasts should have managed 3, too weak, for his century ants though. Chests are easy, without that annoying boar pillow, he would have finished in 20 minutes. He was tense, leaving the rest of the field eating his dust. The chat is wailing at the abrupt end. Some complain they only found one. The hiding spots are insane. One user found theirs on a shelter roof. Another was buried with one corner exposed. Others thought it was a welfare event and got nothing in an hour. Probably nobody found all 3. Some even joke they will wash their hair standing on their heads. So the chests were placed in terrible spots, and the heavy snowfall further obscured them. Other survivors search by sight, but his century ants do not, no matter how hidden. If it is inside his territory, it is no problem. Without those ants, he would have found one at most and missed the top 100 easily, let alone first. The world chat keeps rolling. Surely no one could have found all 3. Probably not, since only 1 hour was given. Many doubt anyone actually did, calling the claims impossible. He laughs at their bravado, choosing to stay silent and not advertise his own result. Staying hidden in first place is exactly where he wants to be, the kind of nail that does not stick out and avoids getting hammered. His century ants got the credit silently while he gets to keep his edge for the next round. He looks at the squad with immense gratitude and then pain. The team that lured the boar, 10 hunting ants and 40 century ants, returned with only 10 hunting ants and 12 century ants. 28 century ants are dead. Of those remaining, almost all are wounded, missing antennae and dragging broken legs. Ants have no minds and only follow orders, but they are his and they earned this win. 28 century ants died trampled by a sleeping beast. The survivors drag themselves forward, legs broken and antennae missing. He is supposed to be the one taking the risks, yet they are the ones bleeding for it. That giant boar will not see another sunset. He sentences it silently and turns to his newly acquired items, a bottle of water, pig iron, and a pair of knitted gloves. He puts on the gloves as comforting warmth pools back into his hands. He drinks some water, picks up the pig iron, and heads inside with the ants. He warms up, then opens the gift package, hoping for real combat power. The wild boar exposed his vulnerability. As shelter level rises, mutated beasts get deadlier, and so does the dangerous territory he cannot avoid stepping into. Real combat power has to come from somewhere, and ants can only carry so much weight on their own without an upgrade. He unwraps the gold gift box, and a golden flash reveals 3 items, each rotating slowly in the air for him to choose from. First is the gold rank pursuit longbow, granting arrows auto-correction. 10% detection telescope, gold rank, sees through darkness, observing scenes beyond 500 meters. Gene manipulator, gold rank, extracts gene fragments from biological flesh and integrates them into other organisms, granting new characteristics. Each effect is wild. Pursuit longbow makes a novice deadly at archery, a dream of perfect aim for any man, but he has no. He skips the arrows. That cold weapon scales on raw physical strength he simply lacks. Detection telescope is amazing, but his recon is handled by blind century ants who do not need eyesight. Once the map is mapped, they can march past 500 meters regardless, and he is absolutely not entering that dark world himself anyway. Next, that leaves the gene manipulator. It extracts and swaps genetics, sparking a dozen ideas instantly. Endless possibilities. He can inject mutated beast genes directly into hunting ants for giant, powerful variations, or weave avian genes into century ants for flying scouts that glide over high walls and treetops beyond any ground threat. Wild boar, tiger, or brown bear essence can give his heavy fighters unmatched physical power. Aquatic genes go into the century class for river scouting whenever deep water blocks his path. Spider venom could be spliced into his queens, assuming he deciphers the exact sequence. Combined with rapid insect breeding, this power is completely broken. If 100 queens churn out hunters and he customizes them fresh off the line, his insect army gets tailored unit by unit, not just species by species. Time to select. He chooses the gene manipulator. The 3 glowing orbs dissolve, leaving a strange, microscope-like device. He grabs the bottle of mutated wild boar blood from Will and decodes the controls. Within minutes, the interface is incredibly straightforward. Just place donor tissue right on the metal tray, and the device extracts raw gene fragments based entirely on the material quality. A single bottle of mutated blood provides 5 perfect gene fragments. Next, the target creature goes under the beam for implantation. He selects a hunting ant. Within 5 minutes, its shell warps violently and a mental ping alerts him. The system flashes warning signs. His bronze-grade black scythe hunting ant is currently absorbing the mutated boar genes, but needs massive nourishment to finish the transformation. The upgrade granted it an omnivorous diet. It can now graze on plants to survive, since he has no meat nearby. He kicks the beast outside. It immediately charges toward a young white birch tree, spreads its wide jaws, and completely devours it within 10 minutes. Then the ant undergoes an insane growth spurt, from fist-sized to the size of a piglet. It swells to hundreds of times its original mass, sprouting thick, wire-like bristles. With half-meter jaws, it looks terrifying. The genetic tool is insanely overpowered. His bronze-grade black scythe hunting ant now lists mutated wild boar genes. Its current fusion slots are full. It can take another modification after reaching silver rank, so lower-tier ants only get 1 slot, while silver units get 2. That silver rank is a massive jump. He needs to evolve the hunter queen immediately. Suddenly, his survival chat pings. Will is asking how to take down a mutated wild boar. Did he find one? Will warns that even he avoids fighting those beasts head-on. Instead, he relies on poison arrows to slowly bleed them out. If he had chosen that hunter bow, he would be doing the same, but he has a far better option. His newly modified gene hunters. Pound for pound, these insects are practically unstoppable. To ensure victory, he creates more. 30 minutes later, 20 mutant ants stand ready. They are far too massive for his small shelter, requiring an outdoor nest later. First, the boar. He never lets grudges sleep overnight when he actually has the strength to fight. Killing the beast secures revenge for the 28th century ants it crushed, plus massive hundreds of pounds of meat, more gene fragments for hunter upgrades, and bulk food. For the hungry queen, this high-grade fuel will feed her core and push her directly toward silver rank in a single shot. Once she upgrades, she can breed. With silver-grade hunting ants at his side, his entire combat limit rises, even silver. Mutated beasts are starting to look survivable now. Ending that wild boar tonight is no mere emotional payoff, it is his next breakthrough. Taking 20 hunting ants, he heads for the boar's lair 460 meters from his shelter. Inside a dark cave, the mutated wild boar is chewing on a sweet potato, absolutely furious. Earlier, some ants had woken it and it had chased them down to crush them. Grumpy and hungry, it now spots dark figures approaching. These mutated beasts have terrible eyesight, but this trespass on its dinner is more than enough. Eyes red and snorting, it charges the 20 modified hunting ants. The beast barely squeezes out a few howls before being ripped to shreds. Nothing but a pool of blood and flesh remains, watching from 100 meters. He had worried about losses, but the beast is gone instantly. These are war machines. A profound sense of security washes over him. Just yesterday, he was crawling away from torn-up squirrel gashes through his pack and jacket. Today, 20 modified hunting ants reduce a 300-kilogram bronze beast to absolute pulp in seconds. The very nature of his survival has flipped in 2 days. The engine driving this chain is the eye of taming, the species contract, spring water, and now the gene manipulator. Stacking them together is key. Alone, they would hardly matter. But together, they raise the floor. The 300-kilogram carcass will attract night monsters. So he decides to butcher it right here instead of dragging it back, even yielding half. That is still 300 jin of bronze boar meat. Meat prices have dipped, but bronze meat still fetches 30 wood per jin. 300 jin means 9,000 wood. With extra materials, 1 boar brings roughly 10,000 wood. His 20 hunting ants work like professional butchers, finishing in minutes. Then his smile fades. The yield is completely off. Where is the rest? He only has 30 jin of boar meat, some blood, 1 hide, and a pair of 30-centimeter tusks. With 20-something jin of offal, it is well under 100 jin. The rest of the 500 jin is missing. He searches the offal with a black iron machete and pulls out a red walnut-sized orb, a bronze-grade beast core, the condensed essence of a monster's life force, only found in bronze-grade beasts or higher. So that missing weight was compressed into this tiny core. No wonder meat prices are sky-high. There is barely any meat. Still, contentment brings happiness. A total fantasy, but these remaining materials are still worth at least 1,000 wood, plenty to fund his level 3 upgrade. According to its description, the beast core is a sustainable bronze item, and even though he has no immediate use for it, anything packed with condensed Monster life energy is far better kept than sold. That is especially true. With his hunter queen steadily climbing towards silver grade, the 30-centimeter tusks can easily be sharpened into thrusting weapons or traded away. The hide is excellent winter-grade material. All the offal goes straight to the hunter queen as food, the 30 jin. Of muscle meat is divided, partly for himself and partly for the next breeding. Wave 0 waste. Upgrading to level 3 requires 500 wood and 100 stone. He currently has 200 wood, leaving him short by 300 wood and 100 stone. As more chests drop pickaxes of various rarities, and other survivors find blueprints. Stone mining has rapidly scaled up across the area. The wood-to-stone exchange rate has dropped to about 1 to 2, with bronze meat at 30 wood per jin, 20. Those jin would easily cover the upgrade, but he is short on food. He refuses to sell unless forced. Plenty of daylight is left to explore. He will scout the territory ring first and settle the deficit tonight if needed. He has the hunting ants carry the boar back, bucket of innards included. The hunter queen eats any kind of flesh, saving him valuable resources. An hour later, he and his sentry ants sweep the 500-meter ring. This time they have strict orders to search for beasts and rare plants. They spot 4 mutated rabbits, and his combat squad handles them quickly. This hunt yields 25 jin of rabbit meat, 2 jin of blood and hides. Black iron beasts do not drop cores, meaning higher food yields for him. Those 4 rabbits roughly equal 1 wild boar. The sentry ants make a discovery. They uncover 20 jin of fully matured sweet potatoes near the old lair. He has everything carried back, then orders a sweep of the squirrel territory. They raid 7 burrows, returning with 15 jin of nuts and seeds. He harvests the last 8 red heart fruits and breaks off a branch. This is a gift for Chunha. He messages her with the harvest immediately. She is thrilled and really needs them. Is his shelter upgraded yet? Still short on resources. Without saying a word, she opens a trade. She casually lists 300 wood. Now that is a massive flex. To casually send this much wood, her shelter must already be level 3. She sends a careful warning along with the materials. Level 3 changes things. The safe zone expands to 2,000 meters, bringing dangerous silver beasts. These silver predators are highly independent and refuse to stay in one spot. Their power dwarfs bronze beasts. She heavily emphasizes their wandering nature. And honestly, a roaming silver predator is the absolute worst-case scenario. Bronze beasts had fixed zones he could map, but silver beasts wander freely. This means today's safe path could become tonight's deadly trap, massive territory. Moving from a 500-meter zone to 2,000 meters is an insane jump. This expands his usable ground to over 1,250 hectares. Controlling this scale means he needs a far larger sentry ant army. He needs smarter patrolling paths or a massive boost in raw numbers. Her breeding expansion is now crucial, especially with roaming silver beasts. They are just as dangerous as that bronze boar was in his smaller ring. They never stay still. His modified hunting ants are still only bronze. With only one fused gene, he honestly doubts they can fight silvers. This information is critical for his safety, but he has countermeasures. Sentry ant border patrols will give him early warning at the perimeter. A defensive chain of ants can watch and flee at the first hint of danger. They will run at the first whiff of a silver. Fortunately, his queen is evolving. Once she reaches silver, she can breed silver ants directly, saving resources. This completely avoids the massive cost of upgrading individual bronze ants. Early warning systems and a silver army will keep his base secure. He will be safe even before hunting a silver. He sends his thanks. He closes his manual and orders the hunting ants to chop trees. They were too small before, but their new boar genes change everything. The problem is finally gone. He wonders how many trees they will fell in the remaining hours. He heads into the shelter, dumping boar offal into the hunter queen's nest to keep her production climbing while he crafts fences. The new hunter queen's rate with the nucleus has a 30% food consumption boost stacked on top of organ-grade meat, climbing visibly inside the manual panel. Every 10 minutes he peaks, and the percentage has crawled up another 2 or 3 points. Nucleus organ feed and a queen with potential silver tier ceiling. Every input is now compounding. Meanwhile, in another corner of this dark world, beneath a giant tree wide enough that more than a dozen people must encircle it. A 1,000 square meter field stretches around the base. Half is golden. Multi-year winter wheat, fully mature but unharvested, simply left in the soil. Survivors elsewhere would spit blood at this site. The other half is strange-looking plants, some barely recognizable, others completely new species. Graceful figure bends over the soil, sowing seeds, hands and feet muddy and unbothered. She straightens as the bag empties and wipes her forehead with the back of her hand. She murmurs, "Phew, finally. Planted, hopefully luck is better this time and more plants mutate, that way little green can collect more gene fragments and grow stronger." The giant trees leaves rustle without wind answering her. She continues, "Do not worry. Little green, I will work hard to collect different plants to help you reforge the glory of the Casimir world tree." She stumbles on the long name and the leaves rustle louder until she gets it right, then quieter and satisfied. World tree indeed, like a childish ghost. She glances at the wheat field. With this much ripe wheat, harvesting it alone would burn an entire daytime. If Little Green could help her, but Little Green expends serious energy and active labor, needing to conserve strength against the silver-black bear to the northwest. She returns to her shelter on a tree branch 30 meters above the ground. From a bronze chest she takes a golden scroll, mutual aid contract, gold rank. Select a target, establish a mutual aid contract. Both parties cannot harm each other and can teleport to the other shelter with permission. Usage limit 5 times. A powerful ally. She decides to think it over tonight. Daytime is precious, so she tucks the scroll away and starts compounding ripening agent at the work table. Her workbench sits beside a large window of polished wood, and the bottles of mutated plant extracts are arranged by hue and thickness. Orange concentrates in the front for accelerators, pale green in the back for stabilizers, a few amber drops kept apart for the rare cross mutations she does not yet trust. Each bottle is labeled with a script she invented, a pure inheritance from a botanist grandmother, she likes to say. While she works, the giant tree's leaves rustle softly above the field, almost like a long exhalation. Little Green is content, she is content, the wheat will keep. The contract waits in the chest. Meanwhile, back at the shelter, he finally surfaces from his crafting trance. Fences pile up and the shabby shelter runs out of floor space. He emerges with stiff arms, gulping from a water bottle. Outside, darkness has fallen earlier than he expected. The manual reads 3 hours have passed. He is amazed to have worked through it without a single break. He could not even last 2 hours. Repeatedly eating the red heart fruits has thickened his muscle fibers. Wood production scaled across the population, driving up demand for safety fences. Prices ticked up instead of down. He prepares to list his new fences. He lists them at 6 wood per piece on the trade channel and heads out. He goes to the birch grove to check his ants. The grove is gone. Hundreds of birches are reduced to stumps. The forest was converted in 3 hours. He stares at the bare ground. Surprise, disbelief, and pleasure hit him. The hunting ants are at the far edge in an open clearing, still working. They fell trees, trim branches with scythes, and then stack them neatly. Clean logs are piled with craftsman precision. He only ordered them to chop. But they added the trim and stacked everything themselves. Their stamina is limitless. He counts the haul, exactly 2,029 units of wood. With this wood, he can easily upgrade 2 of his level 3 shelters. Selling meat is no longer necessary, but this massive harvest is not repeatable. His territory only has 1 dense forest, and his hunting ants just leveled it. The remaining scattered trees only total about 1,000 units across long distances. Collection is inconvenient. If only he could rent the hunting ants out. A labor dispatch would make him rich. First, a realistic question. Even with full ant deployment, hauling 2,029 wood is tough. It takes up to 3 hours, and he has under an hour of daylight. The wood cannot all reach the shelter, but this is his territory. He is the only survivor here. The wood will not disappear overnight. Better yet, upgrade the shelter on the spot. He opens the trade channel. He searches for bulk stone and finds Y. Jichin, who listed 300. Listing this much so early proves his capability, but the price is high. It costs 2.5 wood per stone when market is lower. He messages. He asks if the price can go lower. Meanwhile, in a dark corner, inside a level 2 shelter, a disheveled, bearded young man banging a stone axe perks up. The manual beeps. He drops his axe, realizing a big customer has finally arrived. Opening his manual, Y. Jichin forces himself to stay calm and asks how large. Someone bought 10 stones today and called that large. our hero wants all. He demands all 300 units. Talk about a massive power move on the other side. Why Jichin nearly cries with excitement. He desperately needs wood for his shelter. Living in stone country with few trees, his stone axe broke early on. He survived only because a chest dropped a silver mining pick for him. After mining too much stone, prices crashed, and his listing has been waiting. He spent a full day with no inquiries. Now, a buyer is here. He tells himself not to panic facing a big fish and replies quickly. Why Jichin claims this is his lowest price, arguing stone is hard to collect. He boasts he is the only bulk supplier, trying to raise the price. Shaking his head, our hero counters with 2.1 wood per stone. He threatens to buy elsewhere. Why Jichin insists the night is long. The merchant whines that every stone costs sweat and blood. Our hero is unmoved. He asks if the stones will turn into legends, completely ignoring his plea. Why Jichin accepts because he needs wood and cannot gamble on the bluff. The trader sighs and agrees to do it his way since they are in a rush. After a quick friend request, they trade 300 stones for 630 wood. Now only 1,399 pieces of wood remain. Plus those 300 stones, plenty for the level 3 upgrade and extra facilities. Easy, he opens the manual, which asks to use 500 wood and 100 stone. To upgrade the shelter, he clicks yes and the build process begins. Materials vanish from his inventory as a tiny loading wheel spins in his vision. The upgrade is officially underway, and he looks up at his old wooden box. And get this, standing 100 meters back, he braces for the crazy animation. Meanwhile, the global chat channel is dead quiet at this incredibly late hour. Everyone is huddled around bonfires, preparing to face the 17-hour dark. The freezing cold bites his cheeks despite his thick cotton suit and gloves. He tightens his collar and walks a bit closer to the active construction zone. He keeps his eyes peeled, making sure no mutated beasts wander into the area. 5 minutes later, the level 3 exquisite wooden house is finally complete. The long wait felt like forever because his eyes were glued to the edge. He was half expecting some mutated beast to suddenly lunge out of the shadows. A monster would easily catch him out in the open without any cover. Standing in the cleared grove, he has a perfect line of sight to his base. Now he actually gets to watch the upgrade process unfold before him. A massive sphere of darkness wraps around the original 20 square meter wooden house. When it finally dissipates, an 80 square meter exquisite wooden house stands there. Complete with a solid stone foundation, this is a real home compared to that box. The space, safety, and look of the place are massive upgrades. Conjuring a building in minutes is straight-up magic, so he stops questioning it. New blueprints are unlocked. The level 1 farmland needs 200 wood. It offers monster-proof protected soil. There is also a level 1 animal pen. This costs 200 wood and 50 stone to shield livestock from beasts. Finally, a level 1 workbench requires 100 wood and 50 stone. It boosts crafting speed while reducing fatigue. The farmland is an absolute steal. He previously paid 56 wood for a tiny nursery, so this is much better. Getting 100 square meters is a bargain, and the pen is highly useful. His hunting ants are growing in number, and letting them tunnel below is risky. It could trigger a total collapse. The workbench is exactly what it sounds like. A perfect tool for non-stop crafting that increases speed and stamina. He builds all three at once, spending 500 wood and 100 stone. This massive investment is equal to another full level 3 upgrade. He places the farm and pen outside, and the workbench right by his stove. The farm fence stands tall, while the smaller pen sits neatly to the side. He orders his hunting ants to carry firewood inside before retreating for the night. His old 20 square meter home felt extremely cramped with all his gear. Everything was piled up, constantly competing for every inch of floor space. But 80 square meters with no walls feels incredibly open and spacious. Even better, the insulation is fantastic, keeping the freezing wind completely out. He finally feels a deep sense of warmth and comfort in this brutal world. He finally settles in, feeling a warmth he hasn't known since arriving, with his stove burning. The looming cold wave won't freeze him. Its twin threats are brutal sub-zero temperatures and starvation, but he's finally prepared enough on both fronts to let out a breath. He lights the stove and checks his supplies. Inventory: 20 gin of multi-ear wheat, 9 red heart fruits, 22 gin of sweet potatoes, 30 gin of bronze boar, 25 gin Gin of black iron rabbit, plus chest bread. His desperate survival phase is finally over. Tonight is feast night. He's chewed dry rye bread for days, feeding his premium meat to the hunting ants without tasting a single bite. He saves carefully but knows when to indulge. He's no miser. Wiping his black iron longsword clean, he carves massive slabs of wild boar and rabbit meat, chops them into chunks, splits kindling with his axe and skewers them for the stove. The thick slabs cook slowly, but he's patient. He flips them. Occasionally, within minutes, the rich aroma fills the room, making his mouth water. But wait. No good barbecue goes without seasoning. He needs cumin, chili powder, and black pepper. Without those, there's no soul. Finding nothing on the market, he asks the active world chat. Does anyone have cumin, chili powder, or black pepper? Paying high prices. Instantly, the chat explodes. Everyone is completely shocked that boss Jang Hyan is buying spices. Is he actually roasting meat? Other players haven't even secured regular rye bread yet, while this absolute boss has achieved pure barbecue freedom. Desperate players start begging, "Brother, can you spare just one piece?" They promise to do absolutely anything for a single bite. Others mock them, pointing out their ugly profile pictures. Soon, Jang Hyan's direct messages flood with so many freeloaders that he's forced to block all non-friend communications. Rubbing his temples, he immediately regrets the loud broadcast, with only 3 messages daily. On the World Channel, he wasted a precious one on cumin. His perfect, quiet survival cycle was totally ruined by one single careless post about sizzling, roasted meat. Lesson learned: never brag about high-end food on a public forum. Keep everything strictly to direct messages and trusted friends. Just as he closes his interface, his friend list pings. It's Chunga, his close ally. Since day one, she asks if he still has any mutated spring water to trade tonight. His eyes light up. As a plant specialist, she's his best shot at getting actual spices. He replies they can talk water, but first, does she have seasonings like cumin or chili powder? The question catches her off guard before she can even ask why. He initiates a trade, sending a image of hot, sizzling barbecue skewers. Her eyes immediately widen at the sight of golden oily pork. Her botanist class is powerful, but she's definitely no vegetarian. Having survived without real meat for days, tears practically well up. Yes, she has plenty of spices to offer. Honestly, with her massive wealth, she could easily buy raw meat, but her cooking skills are utterly non-existent. Forced to survive on bland rations and porridge, she is practically starving for meat. Jang Hyan grins, offering a direct swap of juicy skewers for her spices. She accepts instantly. They trade 2 boar skewers and 2 rabbit skewers for her stockpile of cumin, chili powder, and a special green pepper powder she cultivated from an exotic plant. She mentions it tastes a bit like mustard. On her and she's completely forgotten her original trade request, happily dusting all 3 spices onto the hot meat, devouring it with grease dripping down her chin. Jang Hyan enjoys his remaining skewers, deeply satisfied. His cooking skills haven't faded. He had been living alone ever since his grandfather passed away, but tonight he outdid himself, not because of skill, but high-grade bronze and black iron meats, combined with Chunga's mutated plant seasonings to produce an unbelievable flavor. He had ever prepared. Even better, a comforting warmth spread through his entire body, faintly improving his physical condition. It turns out ranked meats are not just delicious, they offer permanent stats, and the cumulative effects will be massive. Over time, just like the red heart fruit, he was no seeker of pure pleasure. But if eating delicious food made him stronger, he would not hesitate to chase high-ranked grains and meats. The red heart fruit already proved that his body could be enhanced through eating rare enough materials. High-ranked meats clearly did the exact same thing step by step. Stacking red heart fruit with ranked food would easily raise his baseline physical strength within a few weeks. The minimum standard for survival was no longer just a fence and a campfire. It was what he ate and what his ants ate, all raising his overall combat power. Afterward, he walked to the ant nest near the spring. The animal pen was ready, but since it was night, he had not relocated the nest yet, so it remained in its original spot. He summoned the hunter queen. Her panel showed an 87% evolution success rate. Flesh and blood materials raised the rate toward reproductive evolution, leaving 13% until silver. Since her bronze evolution, regular meat only pushed her up 11%. Plus 20 some gin of boar and rabbit organs from his recent hunts. Those discarded organs alone added 76%. He should have bought them earlier, which Would have saved a fortune. The trade channel still had nobody selling them, since organs were foul and most hunters simply discarded them. He took out 4 jin of boar meat and fed her. She trembled with excitement and devoured all 4 jin in 2 minutes. Her rate spiking to 100, directed to drink spring water, she happily approached the source. She remembered what came next, drinking 5 milliliters before stopping, far more than her first small taste. Since her body was larger now, he had not gene-fused her yet. So she was only 7 or 8 centimeters, unlike the half-meter boar-fused workers. The water took effect and her body swelled rapidly. Within 5 minutes, she grew 10 times larger, reaching 70 or 80 centimeters long. Her solid black abdomen now displayed layered silver patterns looking mysterious and almost ornamental. Her side mandibles were nearly gone. As a reproductive ant, every evolution prioritized breeding over combat strength, while ordinary hunting ants grew sharper, larger mandibles at silver rank queens shed them. She was in extreme energy depletion after evolving, so he gave her boar meat to recover. She absolutely inhaled it. Panel info: Black Scythe Hunter Ant Queen, silver rank, potential capped at silver. Already at her limit and less broken with special items or skills. Type: reproductive. Abilities: rapid reproduction, production expansion, rapid development. Fused genes: none. Currently she could fuse genes twice. Rapid development was a new ability, letting her inject energy into newly hatched larvae to rapidly develop them into a mature state, while doubling energy costs prevented daily use. It was a perfect clutch save in a pinch, instantly spawning thousands of hunting ants for counterattacks if anything threatened him. With 2 gene fusions available for the queen now, he had not rushed her fusion yet. There was only one of her, meaning the choice had to be made with caution. His theory suggested fusing higher potential creature genes might raise her growth potential. If she fused with a gold creature gene, would she gain gold growth potential? The trade channel does not even list silver flesh, let alone gold. This stays theoretical for now. While he is thinking, the queen finishes eating, rubs her antennae toward him, and makes a rustling sound. The rhythm carries meaning that the species contract decodes directly into his head. Master, the meat is delicious. If it is tasty, eat more, there is plenty. He replies on autopilot, then freezes. Since he is alone in the shelter, where did that voice come from? A chill runs down his spine. He looks around, no invaders, only the queen, with her abdomen on the floor, lifting her head to look at him with 2 large black eyes. Calm down. The voice earlier was not human, just a strange rustling sound, but he understood the meaning directly. Realization hits. The only biological form language he can understand is the contracted ant species via the species contract. The queen rubs her antennae again. Rustle, master. Confirmed. Until now, the ants, including Mo Wu Pre-Silver, only sent simple biological signals, which he decoded. She has now sent an emotionally textured statement with content. Previous ants were like robots, only receiving commands and executing them strictly, never transmitting messages with clear meaning and emotional shading. In this dark world, anything is possible, but the simplest explanation is that her silver evolution pushed her over the intelligence threshold. Silver is clearly a strength and intelligence inflection point, not just a damage and durability bump. If silver mutated beasts roam level 3 territory with this kind of intelligence, imagine facing smart monsters. The pressure is real, and any laziness from the upgrade and meal evaporates. He sighs wryly. The dark world does not allow rest. Still, a silver hunter queen is a serious upgrade, and once silver hunting ants breed and gene fuse with strong creatures, silver mutated beasts may become matchable. The resource problem rises again because he had thought he was set, and clearly he is not. He pushes it aside. He tells her she needs a name now. She tilts her head. A name. Yes, a name. He rubs his chin and brainstorms. He rules out Zio Hai, meaning little black, as too generic. After 2 minutes of careful brainstorming, his eyes light up. Ink-colored blades silent. Moon Slayer, the imagery a classical scholar might have used for a dark assassin. Her name shall be Mo Wu. Rustle, rustle, ink moon Mo Wu. Thank you, master. Whether she fully understands the meaning is unclear, but she straightens her upper body and waves her 2 small scythes. Satisfied, Mo Wu breed some silver hunting ants. Powerful enemies are around the shelter. He needs her strength. Yes, master. She cannot breed alone, so he invests another 10 jin of bronze boar meat to upgrade her 8 hunting ant harem to silver. To his surprise, ordinary silver hunting ants do not develop intelligence. Silver Intelligence appears to be exclusive to queens, which fits Ant's social structure. Mo Wu will enter her breeding state, and he leaves her alone since her feeding. Cadence is hers to manage, and the harem ants work on her schedule. The new ant nest entrance is now 1 meter wide to fit her, which means the inner tunnel. Volume has more than doubled, and the hunting ants have stacked the spillover dirt into an impressive ring around the cavern that doubles as bedding for new larvae. He stands at the entrance for a few moments, listening to the soft clicks. He hears clicking mandibles and high feeding whines. The scale of the nest hits him. Just a few days ago, this was 63 rice grain ants eating his bread, and now a silver-tier breeding chamber. Specialization works. The Eye of Taming, mutation fountain, species contracts, and gene manipulation. The hunting queen and century queen share one nest with the nucleus. Now a silver hunter queen with double gene fusion potential, his complete theory. Scalable ant infrastructure. The dream of a dragon knight is dead. The reality of an ant knight is taking shape, and it is absolutely absurd. He shifts his gaze, looking over the quick hemostatic bandage blueprint. Crafting costs include adhesive, coagulation serum, and plant fiber. No raw materials here. They are processed products, which is quite unusual for a bronze blueprint. An unusual craft chain indeed. Fortunately, the night runs 17 hours long. Plenty of time to figure this out. He checks the trade channel first. Yo Haisal is selling adhesive for wood or stone. He messages her. Half an hour into the night, she replies instantly, saying she only has 10. But she can make more if needed. Adhesive clearly has its own blueprint. She is on the production side. Plant fiber and coagulation serum likely do too. He has stumbled into a hidden craft economy. Honestly, this changes everything. So adhesive is crafted, not gathered. The same goes for the rest. He decides to take 10 for now, promising to reach out if he needs more. She is thrilled with the deal because adhesive normally does not move fast. The trade is complete. He swaps 50 wood for 10 units of adhesive. Counting for fence wood, hunting halls, stone purchases, and facility upgrades. He has 802 wood and 200 stone left in stock. Comfortably rich, coagulation serum is next, but there are far fewer sellers. One particular listing catches his eye, posted by a player named Will. He wants 100 wood per unit, exorbitant, but the price is negotiable. That negotiable tag is a dead giveaway. You just know he is fishing for big spenders. Will has sold fresh meat since day 2, hunting heavily with blood to spare. Coagulation serum is likely a blood derivative, so he sends Will a message. He warns Will that the price is far too high. 10 seconds later, Will replies. He asks why Zhang Haiyan is searching for coagulation serum and if he knows its use. So the high price was bait. Having nothing to hide, Zhang Haiyan is honest. He sends over the bandage blueprint, confirming the serum is a raw material. Elsewhere in his own level 3 shelter, Will lies back on a wooden bed. A manual in hand, his bearded face still smells of processed beast blood. The instant he reads the blueprint info, he sits straight up in shock. His face is a mix of surprise and joy. He asks if Zhang Haiyan has this. He eagerly offers free coagulation serum and mutated boar meat in exchange. He wonders if Will is injured before realizing the answer is completely obvious. The man fights beasts daily. Injuries are routine. Zhang Haiyan types his reply. He has adhesive already, needing only serum and plant fiber to synthesize it. Will instantly offers 15 portions of serum for free in exchange for 1 bandage. 15 portions at 30 wood each is roughly 450 wood. That is far more than the bandage is worth, making this a massive win. It is a high-profit deal, but Will is more valuable than mere raw resources. The dark world is filled with crises, and a fighter of his immense caliber could easily save his life. He replies that he will buy the coagulation serum at market price, but the first bandage he makes goes to Zhang Hian at market price, ensuring a long-term supply of serum. Zhang Hian responds with genuine warmth, showing he can be a true friend. Although he wanted to give the serum for free, since he refused, Zhang Hian stops. Insisting and silently resolves to send more materials later, trading 330 wood. For 15 portions, pale yellow vials sealed tightly at the cork, he lines them on the workbench shelf alongside the 10 adhesive units, and the crafting bench is starting to look like a miniature medical supply atelier. The last material is plant fiber. Searching the trade channel for plant fiber brings up over 20 pages, priced around 10. Will's urgency is very real, and since he made a promise, he refuses to delay his injury or sit on an unfulfilled promise. He quickly selects the first reasonable listing, buying a portion for 10 wood before sitting down at the workbench for the very first time. The bench is like a spacious computer desk, comfortable to use and remarkably smooth. Bandage crafting time drops from 10 minutes down to 9.5, half a minute does not seem like much per item, but as crafting volume scales, those savings really stack. At 100 items, that is 50 minutes saved. At 1,000, it is over 8 hours. Plus, the reduced fatigue makes the back half of any crafting session much more productive. Bench is not just a simple fixture. It is a massive throughput multiplier for everything he makes. Once finished, he sends a trade request to Will, who is eagerly waiting and accepts instantly. He offers 1 bandage, while Will lists 200 wood and 10 bronze boar. Meet Jeans. Crafting a bandage costs roughly 40 wood, but this offer is worth far more. It is easily worth 500 wood total. He looks up as Will explains that part of this is gratitude, since the bandage is a highly valuable medical item, beyond ordinary resource pricing, warning him never to sell it easily unless resources are desperately scarce. He accepts the trade, but those words linger. Medical items. He has not seen a single one in the entire trade channel. The bandage might be bronze rank, but the manufacturing chain is much more complex than ordinary bronze items. The dark world might be deliberately controlling medical supplies across the entire world. Why? He cannot guess yet, so he shakes the thought off. It is too early to worry about things beyond his reach. This control theory stays flagged in the back of his mind. If this hypothesis is actually true, it has heavy implications. The dark world wants survivors dying at scheduled rates from injury, and the bandage he just crafted is one of the rare items that breaks that exact model. A bandage stopping blood loss has a massive compounding effect on the survivor population dynamics. Every single hunt becomes far more survivable. Every beast confrontation becomes much more profitable. Every survivor carrying one becomes incrementally tougher for the system to eliminate. A medical supply pipeline, even a small-scale one, directly distorts the death curve enforced by the system, which reacts by throttling raw material availability instead of banning the items outright. The work is still feasible, just slow and highly sensitive among other desperate survivors who find out what he is brewing. That explains the artificial scarcity and Will's warning that a bronze bandage is far more valuable than its rank suggests. Hard not to wonder what other deliberate scarcities the system is actively enforcing: clean water, antibiotics, antitoxins, prosthetics, heat sources. Every single unanswered category is a golden opportunity, a pipeline he could dominate with Chun-Hee's plant work. Their alliance might become the engine that scales medical production instead of just bandages, disinfectants from mutated alcohols, antitoxins from venom, grown plants, and anti-inflammatory pastes from leaf compounds. The dark world thrives on keeping medical supplies scarce. Partnerships breaking that scarcity become exponentially more valuable. Zheng Hin files this thought as a priority project for after the cold wave. For now, he wants to craft a batch. He opens the trade channel for plant fiber and suddenly stops. How could he forget? Chun-Hee is a plant specialist. Plant fiber is not rare, and trading with a friend is better for building trust. He messages her directly, asking if she has any plant fiber. She takes 5 minutes, long enough for him to drift to other tasks. He even considers buying from a stranger. Then she finally replies, asking what he needs. Is he making something delicious? Plant fiber in food. He does not get the connection at all. Meanwhile, on her side, her face goes bright red. She clutches her manual. Did she really just say that? Well, Zheng Hin thinks she is just a foodie. She quickly covers, mentioning he asked for seasonings earlier, so she assumed food. The awkward explanation only makes it worse. He lets it go, seeing she cares about her image. She then adds that she has plenty of plant byproduct, currently 39 portions. Since she does not need them, she offers them all to him. Seriously, is everyone in this world always this generous? 39 portions are worth 390 wood on the market. Refusing to take her at a loss, he trades 50 milliliters of mutated spring water for the lot. He also tells her he is making bandages, promising she will get priority supply if needed, just as he is closing the manual. Another message pops up. She confesses she was so focused on the meat she forgot the important matter. The important matter, when she asked about mutated spring water earlier, that was her lead-in. but he already gave her 50 milliliters. That should be enough, she continues, explaining that after a few days of interacting, she feels he is someone worth befriending. Strong, high character, excellent cooking. Wait, excellent cooking, is that the main point? Something feels a bit strange. He prompts her, what is this important matter? She fires back that he wishes. The real matter is she wants an alliance. To become allies, he replies jokingly, saying he thought they already were. She agrees but says that was just a verbal agreement. She wants to establish a deeper level of cooperation. The dangers of the dark world are far more numerous than either of them can imagine. One person's strength is always limited. To survive, they must prepare for a rainy day. Her phrasing is careful, not pushy. She lets him lead the conversation while making it clear their final agreement will be a real binding contract, not just a handshake.